All right, welcome everybody. It's always good to see, as my partner Attila Hevesi calls, repeat offenders. That just means you're anxious to learn new information, and you're at the top of the pile of the super smart people that realize what this new market and times of digital finance, global digital finance, is all about. So thank you also to our newcomers. It's a Wednesday. We always do this Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I know sometimes it's inconvenient, but it seems to work for most. We have people from all over the world that join us, and again, you'll get a copy of the replay so you can watch it anytime in case you missed it. We're going to leave the chat open. It's a relatively new change for us, but we find that the community is very supportive of one another. Those that are newcomers will be encouraged by those that already own the trader. This is for educational and um, informational purposes only. We're not here to give you tax advice, legal advice, um,
Marital advice.
financial advice. But no, if you do have marital questions, and Mr. Barsano, I think, is certified in that area. How many, what, 60 years you've been married now?
No,
Feels,
43.
feels like that. Feels
We're
like
43. Yeah, it feels
that.
like 60. I'm
All right,
kidding.
very good. Well, so thank you again. I'd like to welcome you on. My name's Edward Pereira. I'll change it on the screen here in a minute. I'd like to introduce you to my co-host and good friend Attila Hevesi, and then the man of the hour, that is the genius behind what you're going to see today, Mr. Ed Barsano. And we'll get a chance to introduce him and tell some stories. I'm going to give you introductions and expectations, and I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Mr. Hevesi, who will give a little bit of background, and then we'll get into what you are all here to see today. So I'm going to share my screen here in a second. All right, gentlemen, can you see that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. So what can you expect today? Um, you, you've taken your valuable time to join us today. We, in turn, want to give you as much value out of this. We're going to give you about a 45-minute overview. Sometimes we get wrapped around the axle, dragging you down a rabbit hole for good reason. But then we'll transition to 45 minutes to an hour of Q&A. A lot of people do stand by and stay with us for the entirety, but if you can't, we understand. Your time is extraordinarily valuable. For the third time, you'll get a copy of this in a follow-up email tomorrow, so you can look at it, like it, love it, subscribe to our channel. That would be awesome. You're going to get a chance to meet the creator and true genius behind GoBabyTrade. It looks pretty unassuming, but when he rips his shirt open, it's got a big
Ta-da!
dollar. It's got a big dollar sign, right?
Nice.
you'll see a you'll see a live GoBabyTrade trader, and we can't say enough about it. Which it's really a completely autonomous, 100% unattended money management system that allows you to automate part of your financial life. And ask people that already own it, and they'll chime in, as some already have in the chat. So feel free to ask questions. Nothing to hide here. It's for informational purposes only, except for the marital advice. You'll understand exactly what it's like to make money while you sleep, literally while you sleep. I've got a little treat to show you. And Mr. Barsano has not seen it either, but it is uh, a big highlight on the value of his tool and the tools within. You'll understand that there's nothing else like GoBabyTrade on the planet. Don't pay attention to these bots and this and that and the other. This is not it. It is a complete trading and money management system. You'll understand that it doesn't take any skills whatsoever. You barely even have to use a computer. Sorry to steal your thunder, Attila, but you literally just set it and forget it. And you'll understand that it can literally automate a portion of your financial life. So stay tuned, buckle up. We're about to leave the station. So with that, let me turn it over to my good friend, Mr. Hevesi. And
Did you read the disclosure? Did you read the disclosure?
I didn't point people to it, but I did say it before I even showed the slide. But I'll say it again. So down the bottom, pay attention to the red. Informational, educational purposes only. Nothing that we share is intended or should be considered to be financial, legal, or tax advice, nor any guarantee of return of performance. So, with that, Mr.
Okay.
Hevesy, take us away.
All right. Well, it would help if I would silence my phone to start with. Anyway, thank you. Good introduction, Edward. And I'm just going to be 5-10 minutes here to give a little bit about my background and how it is that I came across Mr. Barsano way back in 2012. And as a result, all of you are here listening and watching, and it's a good thing. You could pat yourselves on the back. It's hump day today. It's Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and you're here. So that's a smart move, because if you've been, other than if you've been hiding under a rock or something, you may have seen what the heck is going on in this digital money revolution. Things are starting to get crazy. I mean, crazy good. And we're all part of this. And that's just so exciting. But anyway, my background is pure financial most of my life. I didn't really care for TradFi that much early on. I was with a TradFi, of course, being traditional finance. Um, but I hung in there for 5-6 years with a major insurance company. And then I said, I don't want to do this my whole life. So I moved on to other things. But let's fast forward to 2017. I got a little bit of a taste of a Bitcoin mining project. And that's where I caught the fever. I said, I love the sovereignty of this. I like the feel of getting the governments and the banks out from between you and I. If I want to send you money, what business is it of the government's what I'm sending you, or the bank, frankly? It's my money. I earned it. So anyway, but life got in the way. Let's fast forward to 2020. And that's where I decided in September of 2020, I want to be in this space. So I, on purpose, deliberately learned as much as I could about this space. And best financial move of my life. I built somewhat of a portfolio for myself. But I want to tell you how it is that I met Mr. Barsano. It was through a referral through a friend. And Mr. Barsano's background is pretty interesting. After high school, he went in the Navy, and they taught him how to program in the Navy, and he got pretty darn good at it. And
Taught me how to program in the Navy.
who did?
I said I taught me how to program in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Nobody teaches me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I stand corrected. So, but he got good at it, and really good at it. So good that Bill Gates at Microsoft hired him as one of the first 300 people programmers ever to be hired in their history. And this was in the mid 80s when Microsoft was going vertical. So that's pretty impressive. And Ed, spent 9 years there having a very successful career. And then he retired a young man. He was about 39, I believe, when he retired, bored to death after a couple of years.
Too
And
young.
yeah, in 2000, the stock market crashed, and he was involved in learning the stock market and doing some things in the markets. And he lost a large part of his wealth, and he got ticked off, and he said, you know what? They picked on the wrong guy. I'm gonna automate this market. I'm gonna show people it's just numbers going up and down. And he did that. He developed in 2000 the world's first, for the consumer now, the world's first fully robotic autonomous stock market trader. So get this, you programmed it, you downloaded the software. It took about an hour to 90 minutes to set up. But once it was set up, it turned itself on automatically at 9:30 in the morning on Monday, right before the market opened, traded for you all day long, taking profits, buying more at a lower price if needed. And then at 4 p.m. when the market shut down, it shut down. And it did this 100% unattended, which was pretty impressive because, I mean, it's impressive now. This is 25 years ago. Think about it. So really, I mean, talk about being ahead of your time. It was ahead of its time, this software. Now, he marketed that successfully, very successfully. And then in 2019, ended up selling out to a hedge fund. Now, I was introduced to him in 2012 by a mutual friend, and I bought the trader. I used it successfully, even helped Ed market it to a certain degree back then. And, you know, we had a blast. We broke bread, traveled on airplanes, went to meetings, and I still have some photos from back then. I got a picture of Ed with a gigantic black boombox on his shoulder after a meeting. That's a classic. Yeah. Anyway, so let's fast forward to where the story gets kind of interesting here. March of 2024, I was having a rough day at the office, and I said to myself, you know, I'm real happy with my portfolio, but I'm a cash flow guy. I like cash flow. So how do I just keep my crypto earning more crypto on itself? Kind of like in DeFi, but DeFi is dangerous because you really got to know you got to keep an eye on it. And I don't have patience for keeping eye on things. I'm busy enough with life. I don't want to be tracking this, tracking that. I don't want to be in front of a computer just dedicated all day to making sure things don't go south. So I'm like, how do I just keep my money making more money, my crypto making more crypto? And it took me 24 hours, but after one full day, it hit me right between the eyes. And I thought of my friend Ed Barsano. I said, my gosh, I totally forgot about Ed. I'll bet my life on the fact somewhere in the last 3 to 5 years, he developed an autonomous robotic trader for the crypto markets. I had a hunch. It just made sense. So I still had his number on my phone. I called him, tracked him down. We spoke for 3 hours. And he said, yep, he confirmed my hunch. He said, April of 2021, I launched the robotic trader for the crypto market. And he said, Attila, I right away, I said to myself, I'm done with stocks. He said, this thing's light years ahead of the stock trader. And he said, he gave me 4 compelling reasons actually why. So listen carefully because this is the nitty gritty. Number 1, he said, obviously, you know, stocks trade, stock markets 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. Big difference. Number 2, you need a lot of volatility to be successful in any kind of trading. There's no asset class on planet Earth with more volatility than the crypto markets. I said, absolutely right, Ed. He said, number 3, this kind of blew me away. He said, Attila, it's not downloadable software anymore. I made it web-based. So it's in 10 minutes, I could have you trading live. It connects through an API to your own Coinbase or Kraken. What did I say? I said, are you serious? And he said, yes. I said, let's do it. I bought the trader, the license on the spot. And in about 8 minutes, he had me connected live to Coinbase with about just under 10 grand. That blew me away because I remember the old days when it was a little bit cumbersome to set that thing up, you know, 60 to 90 minutes. And it wasn't that easy. But the fourth thing, excuse me, the fourth thing is really what shook my world, so to speak. He said, look, what I did was I created an API connection to your own Coinbase or Kraken account. So my trader does not control any of your money. I can't get to your money if I wanted to. You control your money at your own exchange level. I said, Ed, that is pure genius because I've lost over $100,000 in the last 4.5 years. Well, last year it would have been 3.5 years, based on 5 different blockchain, DeFi, crypto, cash flow projects I got into. But think about it. Why did I lose those monies? Now, I made a lot more, obviously, but that's a lot of money to lose. I don't care. I was not pleased. Why did I lose that money? My crypto was not under my control. It was sitting at a third-party wallet or exchange. That stinks. So here, when I heard him say number 4, which is I control my crypto, I'm like, giddy up, let's go. Let me help you market this, Ed. And I am helping him market it together with Edward. So please remember a couple key things before I introduce Ed Barsano and Edward again. I just want you to think of this. What this man has created, think about it. When he went through that experience in the year 2000, and he says, I'm going to automate the markets, he leveled the playing field. And what does that mean? That means that without being an accredited investor, without anybody being knowledgeable about trading, knowledgeable about crypto, you hardly have to be knowledgeable about computers. you can make money while you sleep. We subscribe to the Warren Buffett theory. Warren Buffett said many times, if you're not making money while you sleep, or if your money's not making money while you sleep, you're going to work till you die. And it's so true. You have to multiply your money when you're not putting in the elbow grease anymore. So he's done that for the average American. Now we can make money in our sleep. So that's number one. Number two, when we say set it and forget it, this truly is. We mean it. It is set it and forget it. You could buy the license, go to the complete opposite end of the world, have no internet, have no computer, and this thing is still making money for you on Ed Barsano's servers. That's true freedom, time freedom, and freedom from screen time and all that garbage. I don't know, like I said before, I don't want to be in front of a computer and get signals from somebody about trading signals like, okay, at this moment now you need to do this trade, and I don't even want to do that. And people are doing that pretty successfully with other platforms. That's not for me. That's not freedom. I'm going to Europe in 3 weeks for almost 2 months. I don't want to be in Europe having to go back to my place or go to a coffee place, turn on my computer and get those symbols and input them. What are you kidding me? Who wants to do that? Okay. I want to be set it and forget it, and we could do that here. Now, before I introduce our special guest, we got a little treat for you here today. We are going to see a live trader today with Mr. Barsano. But first, my cohort, Edward Pereira, has his live trader, but he also has a trader for paper trading. And about 6 weeks ago, he changed his strategy. I want everybody to see what that simulator, that simulation trader, and by the way, the trader doesn't know if you're trading live or if you're in simulation or paper trading. It doesn't know the difference. So Edward, do you mind sharing that with everybody? Maybe do a screenshot and show your paper trading account of what it's done, I think in about 6 weeks.
39 days today.
Okay, watch this, folks. This blew my mind when I saw this.
So Mr. Barsano, you're going to be blown away.
It's going to take a lot, but go ahead.
Oh, hang on a second. Because then I'll give you the little secret of how I came up with what I'm about to show you, if I can find my screen. Bear with me just a moment. I don't know why it's not letting me. Yeah, bear with me just 1 second. Nope, that's not it either.
Well, I'm not impressed yet.
No, not me neither. Me neither. Hang on. I don't know where it went. So give me a second.
Okay, well, while you're looking for it, let me just say a few things. When you buy the trader, by the way, especially with the $1,000 discount link that Crypto Casey offers with her link, you go into simulation automatically. But you could go live literally 2 minutes later, or 2 days later, or 2 months later. Okay, there it is. He's got it up.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I set the simulation in motion on March 25th. So I went to public school, but my math tells me that's about 39 days.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Edward. Let everybody know that before that, you had 3 different cryptos trading for you in simulation. And you just wanted to see, because it's a simulator, you're able to experiment and change strategies.
Yep. And we'll talk about how I got here and why I chose these later. And we'll show you what I call, which I gave you in the expectation slide, the $1 billion report. This blew me away and continues to blow me away on a daily basis. So when you see this report, it illuminates all of the highest trade accounts that you would not have access to this data anywhere else and any time outside of the system, but you will have access to it, right? So Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, and Whiff. In the last 30 days, this is simulating with 100,000. I started last 30 days. $12,725. Over 39 days, $17,000, which annualized comes to, this one comes, I haven't looked at it today, but it's made 315 today. This one's about 157% annualized. And this one is close to 200% annualized. I I'm flabbergasted.
Wow.
But this was a great, great, great simulation as to show you the real live power of what this thing does. All it does, and you'll see Mr. Barsano's account, and it's not much different in its performance. But Ed, what was it? 6 months ago, you came up with the $1 billion report?
Yeah, 6 or 8 months ago, yeah.
Prior to that, everybody had to do, including Mr. Barsano, his own research on all the coins that were available and why. So stay tuned. We'll show you this report, but then you're seeing the results of it now. But
Awesome.
look at down the bottom of the screen. All the light colored is purchases on 3% dips, and all the darks are just profits. I'll scroll this for like another 10 seconds, but look at here. Look at the times. I was asleep. I was asleep. I was asleep.
Man, you go to bed early.
I was asleep. I was asleep. I think it only makes profits when I'm sleeping. And so, well, it's very exciting to be able to share something like this, because you can have theory about how genius Mr. Barsano and the creation of this platform is, but it's another thing to show ultra high performance, real live, not manipulated. All I did was pick some out of the top 10 of the biggest performers. Now, let me qualify that volatility, right? Inside the trader, you're in a universe that you've never seen before and won't see outside of this trader. Volatility is what this system eats. A bull market within the trader is very high volatility. A bearish market is when volatility is low. Well, anybody that knows crypto knows that all it is violent volatility that no one until now has been able to put a rope around and be able to leverage to the benefit of the financial legacy that you're going to be able to create for you and your family. So I'm super excited. Thank you for letting me share that. And then there'll be lots of questions, which, by the way, qualifying, I forgot to mention in the overview. So questions, put the questions in the Q&A section. It's hard to follow the chat. Be very active in the chat, as long as you're not mean, right? This is a family-friendly environment. So, but if you have questions, please do put them as they come up, particularly as you see the trader, and we walk you through the functionality. As the question comes up, put it in the Q&A. Likelihood by the time we end the presentation, most questions are normally asked, but they're all super smart questions, so don't be shy about that. With that, let me hand it back to you,
Okay.
Mr.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. That was very cool. So Ed, the reason we ask you on every week is because first of all, you're the creator, and it's always nice to have the genius behind the thing that was created on a live Zoom so people can interact. But we have common questions that pop up all the time. And the first most common question is about AI, because we're seeing in the last 2 years, all these AI bots, AI crypto trading bots, AI this, AI that. What separates your robotic autonomous trader with AI from all of these buzzwords that we're hearing so often? And frankly, I'm getting sick of it.
Well, first, thank you for inviting me.
Sure thing.
It's always a pleasure, and those of you who have been on these webinars know that I'm going to push this for 3 hours. We're going to do this for 3 hours. So
everybody can fast forward through it at 2 or 3x, which would be very funny to hear you speak like a chipmunk. But let me just say this, and I've never had an opportunity, and you know how much I appreciate you as a person, as a genius, is that I don't know whether people really grasp, and you will, particularly like Rush shares comments about the performance. This is like having an audience if you put Einstein together with Warren Buffett, with Marilyn Monroe, right? That's where he gets his looks. Then you're actually getting an opportunity to see, hear, what the strategy is, where this came from. You got a little bit of background from Attila and I, but this is like being able to sit with Einstein. I'm always complimentary of you, Ed, and I'm amazed at what your creation, 50 years of programming
No, it's like
prowess.
sitting with Simon Bar-Sinister.
That could be. That could be. But you literally have changed uh the direction of what I'm able to create as a financial legacy for my family. So I always like to share my personal thanks with you. So thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. I'm having a ball. But to answer, there's a lot of things, we could, I took some notes here while you were talking to Till before we get into the AI.
Yeah.
First off, I mean, Edward, your trader looked good, but I wasn't really that impressed because everybody signing up, that's what it looks like. So I talked to a lot of people, and the people signing up nowadays are starting with those 4 coins, actually, Bonk, Pepe, Ando, and Whiff, those 4 big movers, and they add one more, ACH, Alchemy Pay, ACH. That's my staple. I'll trade that till I die, that coin. But you add those 4 to it, and it's gold. Everybody been, I talk to a lot of people every day, and that's, that's where they start. I try to get them down to that. A lot of people come in with 50 coins. I'm like, get rid of all that. It's all dead money.
Right.
You got
Right.
your money spread all over the place, man. It's like you need to. If it was me and I'm not an investment advisor, I tell them flat out, liquidate all that junk. Liquidate it all, go to cash, let the auto trader work with the money. And some people listen and some don't,
Well,
obviously.
never in my wildest dreams did I think I would ever have the opportunity to share 150 to 190% annualized return and somebody not be impressed.
I
So,
know. Hey, this is just routine, man.
yeah,
And it's just numbers going up and down. Everybody's overthinking the market. That's the thing. For 25 years, everybody's been overthinking it. And I'm like, why is everybody gambling? They're always freaking me out, man. It's just numbers going up and down. And you buy something and sell it at a higher price. Give me a break. It's not rocket science. I don't get it. Why does everybody feel like they have to gamble? I'll never, I haven't figured it out yet in 25 years. This is a therapy session, folks, for me. I come to my therapy session, they invite me, and I get to talk.
here's the simple truth.
I get it off my chest.
Well, no. Here's the simple truth is that most everybody that's been exposed to anything in the financial sector it's taught the wrong way to think about things. You have literally, and I've said this before, you've literally turned financial logic upside down. But when you look at the root of what caused you to create this, not losing all that money, but simply breaking it down to the simplest terms, right? Of prices going up and down. And
Taking all the sport out of it.
what did I say to you before, many times before? You've made it boring to make money.
I know. It is boring. It doesn't even mean anything. It's just numbers. Give me a break. It does get old. You just look at it. How much did I make today? Oh, that much. All right. Well, that was nice. But it's cool. Everybody should have it. They earned it. They deserve it.
Yep.
I didn't create this by myself. When I lost those millions of dollars in the 2000 market crash, and really, I didn't really, it's not like I lost it because I was doing anything with it, not like I was gambling or anything like that. I really had no strategy. All the stocks were going up in the 90s, and I was just in all the stocks. I was in all those tech stocks in 2000 when the market crashed and 60% of my wealth vaporized. And that's when I said, all this stuff, all the techniques that they're out there preaching is all wrong. They're completely wrong, in what they're doing, and I'm going to take control of it. I'm going to automate the market, and it's not I'm going to conquer the market, it's we're going to conquer the market. So then, as clients came on, I gave them everything they asked for. I said, I want to know what you know, and I'll automate what you know. If you think you know how to make money in the market, let's automate it. Let's add it to the trader. And what did I do, Attila? I had 10 screens, 10 screens of
Yep.
ways to blow yourself up. You know? And I watch people destroying themselves, man, with all these crazy ideas, you know, crazy techniques. And a lot of it was traditional ways of trading. And I'm like, it's all wrong, man, what they're doing. So that's why I sold that company in 2000 or around 2018 or 19. And I rewrote the software and I took all that stuff out. And I said, we're going to put the 27 indicators, the technical indicators. You can get the book, Technical Analysis from A to Z, if you want to write that down. It's out there. It's been out there for 20 years. Technical Analysis from A to Z tells you what's bullish and what's bearish on each indicator. I put all that into AI, and I said, AI, you deal with all that pattern recognition. I'm not going to look at it, and let the AI decide that, whether an indicator is bullish or bearish. And then the auto trader has one job: chase money. And just chase the money. Don't let that market breathe without giving you money. You are now the tax man. The coin can't go up 3% without giving you money now. No more free ride for the rich. We're the rich now. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out, that Edward, your routines are typical. Sorry.
Oh, the returns. Well, I mean, where else, folks, could you hear that sort of a statement made? But we'll add some context to it when we ask you to share the what I call the $1 billion report, and the power that people have in their hands, and the fact, which I lovingly call you crazy for giving them access to that information before they even buy the trader.
I'm Simon Bar Sinister. I feel
I see the
evil.
resemblance.
I feel like somebody's got to stop me. I'm just ripping money out of the market for free.
No.
I feel like this can't be real. This can't be legal. But it's legal. You're allowed to buy something and sell it at a higher price. That's not illegal, even though with proper money management, it's just free money. I don't know what to say. But you know, that's one of the things about all the traditional, what do you call it? Attila, you use that term.
TradFi, traditional finance.
Traditional finance. Yeah, all those methods out there, they're all wrong. You know why they're wrong? Because I'm going to grab my prop, my smart water prop. Because when people are sitting there, everybody wants to hear bull market. That's all they want to hear. Everybody, and everybody online here, you can answer, think to yourself, what are you looking for? A bull market. When do you want to jump in? When everything's going up, when the trend is going up, when everything's pointing up. You're all wrong. You should be going in when things are going down, because the biggest money you're going to make is what you bought when it was at the bottom. So when people call me, and believe me, I get a lot of calls. People say, I want to go all in. This is literally an everyday thing with me in emails and phone calls. Literally every day of my life. People say, how do I make the trader buy more? You know, I'm like, why do you want it? And I always ask them. Sometimes they ask me, they want to change stuff. And I ask them, well, why do you want to change that? You know, and, you know, just, I mean, I could tell you how to do it, but how about you tell me why? Well, because I wanted to make more. You know, buying $500 worth of potato chips in your 7-Eleven and you're only selling $20 worth a day isn't going to make you make more money. You know, you're loading up the shelves with something that you're not even going to sell. Hold on. What happens when the price goes lower? Oh, well, you're out of money because you used it all up here at the top. Now it goes down here, and now you're a buy and holder because you're broke. All your money was used up here. You want to let the auto trader reserve the money for when it goes lower, so that no matter where the price goes, they got to keep giving you money forever. Free money for life. Literally
Jeez.
free money for life. And I can't even talk about this stuff. You know, you see how maybe arrogant or flippant I am here? I can't really talk like this on the internet. They say, get out of here, scammer. They don't even want to hear it. It's like going to a dog lover's website and want to talk about dogs, and they say, "Get out of here! I hate dogs." It's like, why are you talking? Why would you be on a dog lover's website if you hate dogs? How come you can't talk about crypto on a crypto board?
Well, because
Because
the cold hard truth of what you're talking about turns everybody's logic, as I said before, turns it. People look at this and go, "What? That's a scam. That can't be real."
yeah, and
That's
they don't even
why.
let you get into it. Everybody's looking for when things are going up to jump in. And when somebody calls me and says, "Hey Ed, the market's up today. I want to go all in," and I say, "You do realize everything you're selling today on this beautiful up day was bought on down days."
I love
So
that.
call me on a down day and tell me you want to be all in. Nobody calls on a down day and says they want to be all in. It's like,
Yeah,
that's when you should be going all in.
that's
What's
right.
your favorite quote, Ed?
I don't know, I got a lot of them.
Down is good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Down is good. Yeah. And I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. But if you put it on a t-shirt, you gotta put my name under it. Since I created, I coined that phrase because down is good. You want 5 down days in a row. You want this market bleeding, man. You know what happens when the market's bleeding down? Millions of people are dumping their shares. They're selling at the bottom. I'm like, you need your heads examined, man. I don't know if I need therapy or if everybody else needs therapy, but somebody needs therapy here. I mean, they're selling at the bottom. I had a guy just a couple of weeks ago call me and said, "Ed, the market's been really slow. Should I stop my auto trader, put it on halt mode for a while until the market recovers?" I said, "Are you crazy? The biggest money you're gonna make is from those coins that you bought at the bottom. That's where the money is. You want to get in at the bottom and sell it at a higher price, just like if you were running a 7-Eleven. I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's been going on for thousands of years. You buy something at one price and you sell it at a higher price. This is common sense, and everybody already even knows that, and still can't seem to do it in the market. They still want to go in when things are going up. I'm like, that's the wrong time to go in.
Yep.
That's
You're
when you
right,
should be
Ed. You need
dumping
to be
all those
stopped.
shares you bought at the bottom. That's when you should be selling it. What'd you say,
Yep.
Edward?
You need to be stopped. You're actually going to change your name. We're going to create a brand new character that kind of looks like you, a little bit more handsome than
And Simon
Barsinister,
Barsinister.
and we're going to call you Simon Barsano.
That's a good one.
Simon Barsano.
Put
Hey,
that
Ed,
under it. Yeah, they'll probably sue me.
Ed, Ed,
But
can
to answer your question, I need to get to the question. You
yeah,
did ask about AI.
yeah.
Now, just a little background, I've been doing AI since '89, since my Microsoft days. They sent me actually to learn AI. I had a 2-week crash course, and you ain't playing. You better come back with some answers. And I was in class in Maryland, I think it was. I flew to Maryland, and I was in class with McDonald's, and they were using AI for traffic patterns to figure out where to put the next McDonald's. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
makes common sense, right? You're not going to put build a McDonald's in a place where there's no traffic, right? So they do all the research. They put them in the right spots where there's a lot of traffic. And then the big joke back then when I was in that class, the McDonald's guys were saying, "We do all this, and Burger King builds theirs next door to us."
Who's the smart one?
Yeah, Burger King is the smart one. So so I've been doing AI for, my whole life, it's like. And my original auto traders had AI in them all the way back in 2000 when I released the first robotic trader. And I never really gave it a thought. I always say, AI is a nice bell and a whistle. It's a nice add-on. It's not the star of the dish. It's a nice add-on. When the auto trader is getting ready to sell to take profits, it'll call the AI and say, "Hey, AI, is the market going to go higher in the next couple minutes? Or should I just take the profit?" And if AI says it's going to go higher, hold on, then the auto trader will hold on and not take the profit for a little while. And it'll keep calling the AI until the AI says, "I don't see it going higher." Okay, then the software will take the profit. Same way when it's going down. When the auto trader says, "I want to buy more now at this lower price," it'll call AI and say, "Do you think it's going to go lower in the next few minutes?" AI says, "No, I don't see it." Okay, then the auto trader will buy. It's a nice add-on. But the trader is the star of the dish, man. All the stuff that the trader is doing. And this isn't some kind of a toy. Those of you who think that you could just go ahead and create an auto trader, don't even waste your time, man. I've been doing this 25 years, millions of lines of code, so many programs out there that are feeding the auto trader data that, the auto trader has one thing to look at, stealing money. That's all it looks at. It doesn't have to worry about where's the data coming from and what indicators and all that. That's all done externally from the auto trader. The auto trader's got one job: steal money. Watch that money, chase that money, follow that money. No matter where that price goes, it's going to just keep taking money. No matter what, for the rest of your life. Free money for life, I call it. But as far as AI goes, there everybody now, all of a sudden, you start hearing all this, just like what you said, Attila, that all these companies are coming out with AI this and AI that. And I'm like, well, AI's been around since 1955, You would have needed a mainframe, of course, to use it back then.
Hmm.
And why? And in the stock market, nobody had an AI trader. Nobody. It just simply didn't exist. When TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 out of the blue, which shocked me. It's like, why are you calling me, man? That's, how do you even know me? They caught me off guard. Can you imagine getting a phone call like that? TD Ameritrade calls, says, will you connect your auto trader to us so our clients can use it? I'm like, excuse me, how do you even know me? I wasn't advertising or anything. It was all word of mouth, just like today, pretty much. And he answered. His answer, I still can't get over it. It was just so profound. He said, you're real.
Hmm.
That's it. 2 words. It's just mind-boggling, right? Just like one of those, I can't remember who it was. Maybe somebody could put it in the chat who it was. He said a famous quote on his deathbed. He said, tell him I said something profound.
That's pretty funny.
He said, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out like this. Tell him I said something profound. It's like, dear Lord, that was profound.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is cool. The other one was, don't worry, he couldn't hit the broadside of a buck.
Bus.
And he got shot. Anyways, AI is not, when I say it's not the star of the dish, it really can't do predictions. It can't forecast more than what it sees right now. AI was created for for eye scans and pattern recognition. I like to say that it can see a zebra through a picket fence, you know, and that's the kind of stuff AI was created for. It wasn't for forecasting. People are pretending like it's for forecasting. I don't use it for forecasting at all. I mean, the AI in this trader is looking at 27 indicators. What is the market doing at this instant in time? You ever see pictures of someone sitting behind 6 monitors? Well, he's really just sitting there looking at 6 indicators, and he wants to see them all pointing in the same direction, right? Or most of them pointing in the same direction. And the AI is looking at 27 indicators. And the AI does it way better because it can add a percentage to each indicator. So each indicator has a different weight, a different value. That one indicator the indicator or the AI might say, well, this indicator is only worth about 5% of the decision. But whereas another one could say, hey, I'm going to give this indicator 100% because it's so valuable. And, so if you looked at the internals of the data from the AI while it's running, it would blow your mind, blows my mind anyways. You can't figure out what it's doing. All those neurons firing. I'm like, dear God, this is amazing. I've always been amazed by it. So I don't even believe that there are really anybody out there doing AI. I think they're full of baloney. I think they're using keywords, buzzwords. Because if I go to their websites, the way they describe their AI, they're all wrong. I can tell right away just looking at the website. It's like, whoa, that's all out of whack. If you really think an AI can tell you what a coin's going to do tomorrow, then you need more therapy than I do. Seriously. Because there's no indicator in the world that can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. If I had that indicator, I'd be the richest person on the planet. But that doesn't exist. But you don't even need it. You don't need that. What you need to know is what's going on right now in this instant in time in the market. If I'm already profitable and the AI says it's not going to go higher, then take the profit. It's not rocket science, so that's what the AI is for. It's not for the stuff that the way they're promoting it, the way they're describing it. And the other thing is, as far as AI goes, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say on that.
I've got a quick comment. So when you talk about, you've been programming these traders using AI, employing AI, that get smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter by the second.
That's what I was going to say.
Right. So not only do you have 25 years of data, and I kind of challenged you on this once before, several weeks or several months ago, where it's really not 25 years. It's 25 years if you were looking at one trader with one set of data. You literally have tens of thousands of these traders out on the marketplace. So when you times that by the number of traders, you literally have thousands.
Every minute. Each
Right.
auto trader, when you get an auto trader, it's got its own executable. It's a single executable running. Every minute, that auto trader is writing data to files.
Right. So my challenge on the statement
that
is
the AI uses so to get smarter.
So it doesn't have 25 years of what I call clean AI data, because all the data comes from your traders that are out in the marketplace. It has tens of thousands of years,
millions
of AI of AI
data.
Trades and pattern recognition, which is why some other time you would explain when you turned it on, it had maybe a 35-ish% accuracy. Now you're in the high 90s that it knows. Now it knows what it didn't know. And if you compare
that's what I always said.
If you compare that to the marketplace, and somebody comes out and let's just say they had an AI engine as smart as yours, which I know does not exist anywhere on the planet. But even if they did, they only have
2 years worth of data,
maybe 2 years against a 25-year-old that's really a 10,000-year-old.
Right. Well, not only that, but the auto trader, all the data that it uses in its AI was generated by the auto traders. The auto trader literally knows how the value of the data that it's given to the AI. Mm-hmm. So it's like the highest trade count report. That is a beautiful report for the auto trader. If someone else tries to use that report for some other auto trader or something, they don't know how to use it, because that report was custom designed for how the auto trader is going to use the data.
Right.
Other people won't know how to use the data. You can't just buy bonk and expect to get the returns that the auto trader is getting out of it. Because the auto trader knows what the data is for and how to use the data.
And it trades on a millisecond, right? You felt much faster than anybody could ever, right? Greg makes a comment. If it is DeepSeek and ChatGPT able to create a clone of GoBabyTrade, the answer flat out is no, because the machine is not the magic. The data that is fed into the machine on a minute-by-minute basis that the trader is custom to, as Mr. Barsano said, to maximize the benefit of that data. I honestly don't think that anybody could recreate what you did, because literally it's not made up data. It's not aggregated large.
I don't know where other people are getting their data. They're not getting it custom from their own traders generating the data. They're getting it from somewhere else. It's like someone says, I want to trade the coins that have the highest volatility. Volatility means nothing if you don't know how to use it, and their idea of volatility is wrong. High volatility means the auto trader knows how to use that volatility. Just because a coin's doing this, that doesn't mean it's a good money maker at all. It's how the auto trader understands how to use it, and how it knows at the time when to buy and when to sell. You know, so high volatility isn't, everybody could just go and get the highest, go to CoinMarketCap and just grab the coin with the highest volatility. You're not going to make any money.
Ed,
You're not going to make
let's,
any money. It's because you don't know how to do money management.
Ed, do you mind if we go into the second most commonly heard question?
All right. Yeah, I got an hour to kill on this next question. What is it?
No, you don't. So there's a confusion, and this is a misconception. People buy the license. Let's say they go live with 5,000, 2,000, 20,000, whatever. And they are almost shocked sometimes that all of their money is not being pulled into the trader. And, we explain it on the Zooms. They've heard it 100 times before, but it just doesn't register. Can you talk to the money management part of the trader and why all their money is not pulled in all at once?
Well, it's actually the auto trader's pulling it all in. The auto trader's using all that money in its decisions to determine how many shares to buy, and I call them shares in
Right.
cryptos. Cryptos and stocks are exactly the same. Don't let anybody tell you different, okay? They make up stuff. Well, technically, the company, the share is not isn't owned by the company. And it's like, shut up. You're buying a coin at one price, you're selling it at a higher price, just like a stock market. You buy a stock at one price, you sell it at a higher price. It's exactly the same. Don't let people try to confuse it for you and make it look like, well, technically, you don't own a part of the company. How much of an Intel would you think you own if you bought $1,000 worth of Intel? You own nothing. And if Intel went out of business, you think you're going to get your $1,000 back? No, it's the same as crypto. It doesn't matter. It's exactly the same. But anyways, the answer to your question is where people want to go all in at the top. Let's use Alchemy Pay as a perfect example. Alchemy Pay, ACH, was 12 cents a share 3 years ago. Or is that 4 years ago, October of 21? It was 12 cents. Now it's at 2 cents. You'd think I got hammered, because if you're a buy and holder, you did get hammered, because you're sitting there waiting for that coin to go all the way back up before you even break even. However, do you mind if I bring up my trader real fast?
No, go
Nope.
ahead. Please
Just a
do.
quick example here.
Yeah.
Here is Alchemy Pay.
Wow.
No, don't. All right. Here's ACH. It's sitting at 2.8 cents. You think, wow, I got hammered. No, I didn't. I took $323,000 off the table in profits on the wiggles as it wiggled. I'm only down 44,000 in my open shares. And you want to have a lot of open shares, folks. You want to have a down market. You want to build a lot of inventory. That's what I call a well-seasoned auto trader, has a lot of inventory. On the day before the what was it? The presidential election,
Yeah.
the market started taking off. And the new people signing up, they'd buy a coin, but then it went straight up, and then they'd sell it, and then they'd buy it again, and then it went straight up, and then they'd sell it. They have no inventory. What you want to have is a well-seasoned auto trader has, in this case, 13 lots, 13 losers as it's going lower. Because what it does as it's wiggling around, it's accumulating losers if the price is going lower. Just like, let me go to a bucket in a while here.
Let me clarify. When you say losers, meaning they're
that
down from the
means
purchase, but
they're down in value, but they're not losers. You haven't sold them at a loss.
right.
Actually, that inventory is going to come back later. Don't worry, you're going to love it. The more inventory you have, the better, because when a coin jumps 20%, say this is a 20% move, you have all this inventory to sell. Whereas a guy that only has one lot, it goes up 20%. Sure, you made 20% on one lot, but I'm sitting on all these lots. And when it jumps 20%, I sell a lot of inventory off at once. A perfect example of that is, let's go down here to the filled orders, and let's scroll down here. See the dates here? If there's no date, that means today. So today you can see is a down day. It's a buy day. And yesterday was a big sell day. All this inventory here sold off. It's like, hey, thanks for the free money. I didn't even know yesterday was a big day, a big up day. Until now, I only look at my traders when I do if somebody invites me. But let's go to January 27th and take a look at what happened. I mean, you're just buying and selling like crazy. But look at ACH on January 27th. And look at how many, I'm going to just count the screens. All right, this is one screen of January 27th. And ACH is opening positions. You can see the opens, you can see the closes, you can see the profits it's making on every trade. And now there's one screen, two screens, three screens. Look at all this. This is what happens when you have a lot of inventory, baby. This is three, what is that, three, four screens, five screens. Oh, now it jumped to 28th and 29th. But you know what I love more than anything is this. Even though the market's going up like crazy, the auto trader is selling and buying more because it's not going straight up. Nothing goes straight up. It wiggles. Even though the trend is up, it's still buying. It's going buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. So not only am I selling the inventory I'm sitting on that I was holding, I'm also buying more. When I say I mean the trader. The trader's buying more on the wiggles and selling that too. We're really sticking it to the man, boy. I'll tell you, I love it. I just love it. You know, you just can't. And look at the price, though. This is also beautiful. Look at the price, 3.7 cents, right? Right here, closed at 3.7. Look where it's at right now, 2.8 cents. So what's the auto trader doing? Building more inventory. Price goes lower. Fine, I'll add more, and we can repeat this pattern. We can sit down here forever. I don't care. I don't care if it ever goes back to 12 cents. Now you buying holders who loaded up at the top when it was at 12 cents, you're ready. You got to be jumping off a bridge by now because you haven't had a single trade. You're just dead. Buy and hold is dead. I mean, and Google that. I'm sure millions of other people want to say it too. Buy and hold is dead. Attila has it right. You didn't say it today, Attila. Your father said, no, Warren Buffett said, cash is king. And what do you say, Attila?
Cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king, not just cash. Cash flow, turning inventory. And it's not new. This isn't new. We're not out here preaching new stuff. This has been going on for thousands of years. And you guys any of you ever watch those Viking shows that they have on? Viking Valhalla and stuff? God, I watch that stuff every day, man. They had a rough life. No electronics at all. It's just awful. Just an awful life compared to what we have. We're literally living in paradise, man. Then nothing, there should be no depression at all. I don't see where it comes from. Why anybody
Oh,
should be depressed.
no.
Watch Viking Valhalla on Netflix and then look at your life and all
Yeah,
the depression should just go right out of you.
yeah.
You know,
No,
you're living in paradise. But
Ed,
anyways, that's
I
what I'm saying is it's just numbers going up and down and turning inventory. 7-Eleven, all the grocery stores, they buy something at one price, they sell it at a higher price. It's not rocket science. But do you mind if I show, before you go to the next question, show what this well is?
sure.
So I was presenting to an AI audience, showing them how to do AI in Raleigh, North Carolina a year ago. And I saw a whiteboard, so I had to go to it and draw a picture of a bucket and a well. This had nothing to do with the topic that I was on. I was talking about AI. And I said, well, if you're getting water, if the bucket goes from the top to the bottom, and I talk about this stuff because I really want you to understand the internals of the system. I don't want you to feel like this is some black box that it's doing magic. It's just doing what you all should know anyways. A bucket goes down to the bottom, gets the water, goes all the way back up and dumps it out. Nobody disputes that. That's what it does. That's what a bucket does. in a well. It goes down, gets the water, goes all the way back up and dumps it out. And I asked the audience, I said, how much water will it pump in a lifetime? Now I'm sitting in a room full of engineers, so obviously the first question was, how big's the bucket? And I said, it doesn't matter. It's a lifetime. I don't care if it's the size of a cup. I said, it's a lifetime. It's going to go for the rest of your life. How much water will it pump? And then they started throwing out numbers, and I thought it was so cool. I was so excited. I love the numbers. Million gallons, billion gallons, trillion gallons. I'm like, I love it. Perfect. Now let's talk about, and I'm just making this stuff up on the fly in front of this audience, right? So then I said, well, let's look at the crypto market now. What if the bucket doesn't have to go all the way down and it can buy, and it doesn't have to go all the way up and it can sell? Just buy and sell, no matter where it goes. And if it goes lower, that's okay. I'll hold that one and I'll hold that one and I'll buy and sell down here now. It's okay. The software is reserving your money. It's spreading it out so you can trade all the way to the bottom. The secret is always having money to be able to trade at the bottom. And don't worry, when you get a big move in the market, when a coin jumps like that, all those that you were holding, they sell off. Don't worry about it. You can hold them. It doesn't hurt. Unless you feel like you got to run out and buy a Ferrari and you need your money right away, let it run, let it go forever. And so basically that's what it is. So then I asked, how much money can that pump? If you don't have to hold it, you don't have to let it go to the bottom. You don't have to let it go to the top. Just let it wiggle. 3% moves up and down. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And the profits add up forever because where am I at here? The trader, if you look here, this is what I was saying before about the profits. This number is just the inventory. That's that inventory that I'm holding because it went below it. But this is the profits that keep adding up forever on the wiggles. It's like throwing marbles in a jar for the rest of your life and watch that jar fill up and nothing anybody can do to stop it. That's why I feel evil. I just feel it's so diabolical, really. It's so evil.
And it's important to note, this is actually a good place to mention that that the way that you have structured the platform, it is programmed to never sell at a loss. It simply holds the positions.
Right. And don't worry about it. People always worry about, oh, I'm holding it. You're not, you're holding it anyways. No matter where you put it, you're holding your money. Throw it in a bank, it's just sitting there doing nothing. At least this money is working and waiting for moves. Anytime, I mean, that on January 27th, over the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, like over that 4-day period, Alchemy Pay went from 2 cents to 5.5 cents. That's over a 200, what is that, a 250% return? Or what is it, 2 to 4? Or is it 150? I don't know. It's not like Bitcoin is going to go from 100 to 200 overnight, not like Alchemy Pay.
Right.
And that's another discussion, but anyways, so I'm just saying, you can go to Alchemy, or do you want to, we don't have to go to
no, I would like for you
market cap.
Yeah,
this is what it looks like.
We're starting to get a little bit long here. Why don't we go into your trader as soon as you can? Because a lot of the questions people have are answered right by your trader, like looking at, maybe you could cover the light blue section on the left, on the far left, and then we'll go into some of the specifics that really help people understand more.
Well, some of you, if you look back at older videos, you might see this go down to 800,000.
Yeah.
And then it just comes right back.
Well, add some context to that, Ed, because people saw mine and saw the simulation. That was 39 days worth, right? You started this in December of 21. And if you don't mind sharing, what did you start the account with?
200.
Okay.
Every account I have, and I have multiple accounts, started
with so everybody take a deep breath and let that sink in for a second. You're seeing an account that has $1 million value. You're seeing a total lifetime profit of $918,000 plus, and adding
in a down market.
Well, you stole my thunder. In an 80% plus down market, 80% plus down market. If that does not make your head explode, that there are literally, this account has produced triple digit returns annually in an 80% plus down market.
And
If
you can
that
see
doesn't
the
make
trades.
sense,
You see the trades
right?
as they're happening. And you
Right.
see these days where it's not buying. It's okay. On February 5th, I just happened to be here. It was a pure down day. It was just a buy day. Buy, 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 buy. That's it. And then what did it do the next day? Start selling it all off, everything it bought. And it just does that. It goes up and down, free money, just free money. I call it free money. I don't know what else to call it. I'm not working for it. I'm not doing anything. It's just sitting here taking free money.
Well, you got to be getting a callus on your pointer finger showing all the profits.
I know, look at that. It's just, I mean, and then yesterday was a nice day, it just took all this free money again. I mean, here, this is 1 month return here, 30 days, 16 grand. And I have a Coinbase card, by the way. You guys can get that. If you have Coinbase, you can get a Coinbase card and tell it to take the payment every time you use it. It's a debit card. Take it right out of your USDC. You just tell it, or your USD. Tell it to take it out of there. So I have a card everywhere I go. It's the card. Every time I stick it in to pay or scan, they want you can do either one. I just think to myself, the card that keeps on giving, it's just like free money.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's cool.
you've created a machine that literally, Attila, what do you call it? Right? If your money's in traditional finance in a CD or whatever the case may be, and I don't know about you, but if you do the real economics, if you look at the debasement or the devaluation of money that they print every single day, which means your buying power has gone down every time they do that. In the last 30 years, your buying power has dropped by 50%. 50%. What do you call if you're in traditional finance,
Yep.
and I'm not trying to get overly excited about it, but numbers are numbers, truth is truth, fact is fact. Attila, what do you call it if your money is not working for you?
Yeah, I call it your money is unemployed. And I always say it's our duty to give our money a job so that it reproduces upon itself, meaning your money's making money on itself while you sleep. And I don't know if anybody can raise your hand. I can't think of a simpler, more proven way to take advantage of the digital money revolution than with this trader to make money in your sleeping. Employ your money. Give your money a job. Your money's job is to make money upon itself.
Yep.
And preferably set in a set it and forget it fashion. Because like I said before, I like doing things nice and simple, nice and easy. I've worked so hard my whole life. At this stage of my life, I like to just take it easy and let technology and AI do its thing for me to benefit me. And that's part of this trader, a big
We
part.
spent our whole life.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I used to look around. This is honest to goodness. I would look around and say, how could you ever buy a house? I couldn't even figure it out. How could you buy a house? How could you buy cars? I'm looking at, and you know what it is? It's all debt. I didn't realize everybody's in debt.
Right. Yeah. Let me share. You shared a great Warren Buffett quote. Let me share another one with you that I just came across. Warren Buffett said, "Poor people are poor because they spend all their money. Middle class people are poor because they save all their money. Wealthy are rich, are more wealthy because they invest all their money. Their money's working for themselves. They have
Yep.
finally
They
figured
have no dead money.
they have finally figured out how to give their money a job. And that's really, when you break it down, that's as simple as this. You're showing a screen. Most of that from 12:25 a.m. to 4:24 a.m. You weren't up pushing buttons, right?
No, I was answering emails probably.
But you weren't
I get a
manually
lot of
trading your
emails.
account. You weren't manually trading your account. right? So
No, oh no, there's no manual trades in my account. I never click these buttons over here to say add or close. I don't ever, there's no manual trades in my account at all. I
yeah,
let the auto trader do it. Some people feel like they want to do things manually, and that's a problem for those of you when you get your auto trader. Be careful about manually trading, because you don't realize you're using up the money that the auto trader has reserved for when it goes lower. You start getting crazy and spending all the money up here, and then you don't have any money to buy more down here, and then you're
I
just
would
buying
argue,
blue.
Ed, take those buttons off because they're not
Yeah, I know, but you
necessary.
can't. Yeah, you
They're
can't do.
not necessary.
You got to give people the ability to add or close a position manually if they want. And
Well,
let's
you
look
did.
at it, by the way. This shows here. Do you mind if I talk about this for a minute?
No, go ahead.
This over here. This shows the symbol name and the number of lots. Remember I said we add as it goes, if it goes lower, the
Your
number of
inventory.
lots that they've accumulated. This one here, GRT's got 40 lots, you know. Um, Pure gold. I love it. The more lots you own, the better. And when you get your trader, you're going to see ones there, 1 and 2, because you just started. And you're going to be really what you want. Your natural instinct is, I want it to go up. I want it to go up. Don't want that. You need to break that habit. What you want it to do is go down, man. You want to build inventory. So every
Right.
time these coins try to move, if they do a 10% move, you got a lot of inventory to sell. An example I have of that is if I'm running a 7-Eleven and I have one bag of potato chips on the shelf and a school bus full of kids pulls in. You notice when I talk about the school bus, I always use my right hand. Like I can see the street. The school bus pulls in full of kids, they run in the store. What do they grab? One bag of chips. You didn't make any money. You want 20 bags of chips on that shelf. So when that school bus pulls in, you're selling 20 bags. And you guys can do this. Is an exercise for everybody, if you don't mind sharing. This is what I do when I'm in a store and I'm pushing the cart. My wife's job is to put stuff in the cart. And I'll be honest, you talk about marital advice. I watch my wife. I watched her. There was the whole wall of stuff, right? Cheese and stuff. And I would stand there and I would look and I would try to guess which one is she going to grab. And I'm just looking, I'm trying to figure it out. Which one? Because I wouldn't know. I mean, I could grab it all. I don't know. And then she actually turned around and walked away and didn't take anything off the shelf. I'm like, it's amazing. Oh my mind. So, anyways, when I'm pushing the cart, I'm looking at the workers. And what are they doing? And I'm looking at the shelves. And like I was in Trader Joe's and it was so crowded. You couldn't, people were coming in this aisle from both directions with their carts. You could barely get through there, right? And then where's a worker right in the middle of all that? I'm like, what the heck is he doing there clogging up this aisle? He's filling the shelf. He's keeping the shelves full. And I was at Albertsons just the other day. Actually, it was a few weeks ago. They had an end cap, and those of you who know what an end cap is, that's like the prized place where you want to put your product because people walk through the main aisle and they could see the end caps, right? That's supposed to be the prized place if you could get your product on there. An entire end cap was empty. Blew my mind. I almost wanted to run and find the manager. It's like, what the heck is going on here? Why is this end cap completely empty? And then I was walking through an aisle and I saw shelves empty. And I'm like, this is wrong. You go to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, you don't see any empty shelves. They keep those shelves packed because you don't want customers walking by and seeing an empty shelf because, well, whatever was gonna be there, you're not selling it. You need to put something there. Let me put GoBabyTrade on there and sell that. I don't know. Could you imagine if you did that? Anyways, just an idea. But I noticed a lot of empty shelves. And I noticed that. Do you ever think sometimes if somebody owned the store, they might think about really keeping those shelves full, but if you're just a worker and you don't care, because those shelves should never be empty. Yeah, and that's the thing. You should never be out of inventory. Inventory, like I was showing on this.
Or smart water.
Yeah, or smart water. This is my prop. But you should never, and these are lots, these individual lots that when I put my fingers there. You want to have a lot of those because when that market jumps, man, you want to sell a lot of lots off at once. You really clean up the money. So I'm just saying, you want to have a lot of inventory. Down is good, and don't worry
Okay.
about it. And quit worrying about the market going up. Don't worry about it at all, man. The
All right, let's
market will
go
go up whenever it goes up. Don't worry about it. In the
let's go
meantime, you're
to
still taking money at the bottom.
let's go to two nitty-gritty bottom line pure results screens before we get into the Q&A, because this is something that's always in the Q&A. So Ed, when you go to the website and you click on that, the top 50 traders, here's the question we get, folks, while Ed Barsano's pulling that up. The question is, hey, what kind of returns can I expect on this thing? Well, as Edward showed you in red, we don't guarantee anything. We're not financial advisors. We're not giving any kind of financial or tax advice or anything like that. But what's the best way to judge anything financial? Really, what it's done in the recent past. So here's a history of the top 50 traders that actual people own. And you can see what
Okay.
coins they're actually trading. Because one of the questions I already see from today is, what are the best coins to trade? Well, it depends on your different strokes for different folks. Okay, Ed Barsano has been using 3 for over 3.5 years and has earned triple-digit returns along the way. Okay, I mean, he's done very, very well with those. Look at what Edward just did in 39 days with those 4. But we'll show you a report in a moment. But first, let's look at this because this is key. This report, I love this report. So go ahead, Ed.
Well, what this is it's a 1-year report.
Right.
And I'm supposed to run it every month, but I get behind. You know, the report everybody really wants every month is the highest trade count report, the $1 billion report, Edward. This is the one that I really focus on. But the highest trade count report, or the 1-year report, what's interesting here is this is the starting account balance. So somebody says to me, Ed, I have $20,000. How much am I going to make? And then I always tell them, well, you know, I have no idea because that's up to the market. Whatever the market wants to do. You want to have an up market or you want to have a down market, whatever. So I always say, well, go down and find a $20,000 account. You know, find something that's close to what you're trading, and you know what you plan to start with, and look at what they did in the last year. Well, this one started with 22.5, and then profits taken, because this is the column I care about. How much profits did it take? So 22.5 plus 22.5 is $45,000, right? It should have ended the year with $45,000, but it didn't. How come it ended with 139,000? Because the person put more money in.
Yeah.
And that's typical. You see all these 307%, 17,000. This guy started with 4,200, made 4,200 in profits. That's $8,800. Why does he have 17,000? Did he put another 10,000 in? And that's what it's typical. Once you get your auto trader and you see the power of the auto trader, here's a guy that only started with $500, made close to 500. He should have about $1,000. Instead, he's got 5,400. Why? Because he saw the power of the auto trader, and then he threw. Because that's what happens. And I can tell you what goes on here because I see it all the time. All money from whatever you have going on in your life is going to funnel its way this way into your auto trader. This is the only place you can park it and relax and watch it make money. You don't, without whatever job you have. I have a guy in he was an anesthesiologist in New York. He sold the whole building, sold his whole practice, and moved to Florida. He said, Ed, you saved my retirement. And he liquidated everything, man, and he put all his money in here. Because once you see it, it's reality. It's just reality. I can't make this stuff up. I mean, I'm not sitting here making fake numbers up. Believe me, it's all coming right out of the database. And you can see they're throwing, every time you see big numbers here, if it's more than 87% and it's 110, that means they threw more money in, threw more money in, threw more money in. And that's what it is and I try to tell people, slow down, man, don't mortgage your house and stuff, because people do get crazy. They want to they see the reality of the power of the auto trader, but you're basically running a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar. You don't have to lease a building, you don't have to hire a bunch of employees, you don't have to order all this stuff and put it on the shelves. And then you got to tag it all. How much does it cost and how much are you going to sell it for? And oh, God almighty, I can't even imagine a business like that. I couldn't do it. And I'm a genius. I'm kidding.
If you
So
say
I
so
couldn't do
yourself.
it. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. And then you got somebody at the cash register selling all this stuff. Oh my God.
One more
And
thing.
here you got a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar. You don't have to lease a building, do anything. Just put your money in there and watch it do it.
And there's also a misconception out there. Some people actually think the more coins they're trading with, the more money the trader will make. That is not true. So would you mind clicking on some of those yellow view details so people could see? Most people have no more than 3 or 4
Yep.
coins with those.
Look at this guy. He's got ACH, Pepe, Sheeb, and Suku. That's all he's got. That's all he's trading. 4 coins.
Okay.
And and he's running the standard, the default strategy. Profit goal is 3%. Add on 3% drops. Max lots allowed 25. That gives him a 75% trading window. Add down to a 75% drop. The trading window is critical. You never hear me in this whole discussion. You never heard me say, I bought it here and it went up. I bought it here and it went up. When people say that, they brag about that. I invested in this coin and it went straight up. Yeah, you got lucky, all right? There's 10,000 coins out there. You can be the market could hammer you, but you got lucky. Tell me what would happen. Here's a perfect example. A guy not too long ago, he actually said to me, and I'm not bashful, I'll share it. We share everything on this show, good or bad, right? On this webinar. He said, Ed, I made more money manually trading than your auto trader did in the last month. I'm like, oh, well, I'm all for hearing the Holy Grail. I want to hear what your Holy Grail strategy was. And he told me, he said, I bought $2,000 worth of this coin. I think he said Bitcoin, because it went from 77 to 98, right? In a couple of weeks or a month. And I said, oh, so you bought $2,000 worth of that and it went up, okay? But you didn't sell it, so you didn't lock in any money or anything. You're still sitting on the shares, okay? So that's one negative I see. But then the next one was, I said, well, how big is your account? And he said, well, 2,000. I said, well, wait a minute. If your account size is 2,000 and you put 2,000 in, I said, well, what happens if the coin goes down? He said, well, then I just hold it and I wait for it to go up. You're dead already. I mean, and that's what millions of people are doing. They're buying and holding. I think they have a new term for it. What do they call it?
Hodl.
Hodl.
Hodl. Yeah, I can't even remember the term.
Hold on for dear life.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard. You know what? We'll hold coins that are underwater, but the ones that are profitable down here, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, up, down, up, down, up, down. Give me money, give me money, give me money. That's where the money is. Free money for life.
Absolutely. Okay, time for the $1 billion report, Ed.
There you go, Dan.
There's the next trader, by the way. There's the next trader. One coin. He's only got one coin.
Wow.
And he
Yeah, and actually this is another report that's available. Now's a really good time. I got so excited about talking about everything. So everybody that's here has the opportunity to benefit from Crypto Casey's knowledge and Mr. Barsano's kindness in providing, I just posted it in the chat, Crypto Casey and her tribe community are have a $1,000 discount available. The software is normally $4,499 for a 3-year license. In this case, it's $1,000 off. We'll go through a couple slides at the end, but it's you're looking at, people go, oh, some people go, wow, that's really expensive. And some people that understand it, others that understand it and have used it go, wow, that's really inexpensive. For $3.19 a day, you can automate part of your financial life. So go buy a half a cup of Starbucks coffee a day, and you'll be able to employ the trader to employ your money.
All right, can I say something?
Of course.
I'm not a marketer, all right? God, I must sound like one by now after 25 years. But because, but let me say something that I hear a lot. Well, I don't hear it a lot, but I do hear some people say it. I'm going to wait for this or I'm going to wait for that. Okay? The reality is, every day that your auto trader is not running, your auto trade, that means two things are not happening. Number one, you're not building inventory. And remember what I said, when you first come on board, you're only going to have one lot of each of these coins. You're going to buy one lot of each one. It's going to buy ACH. It's going to buy Doge, if you have Doge. It's going to buy the Graph, and it's going to buy Shiba Inu. One lot. Okay? That's all you have. Whereas the sooner you get on board, the sooner you can start taking advantage of the down days. Like today's a beautiful down day, and what's my auto trader doing today?
Buying inventory.
Building inventory. You need it to build inventory. It's good. Inventory is good. Down is good. The sooner you get on board, the sooner that starts happening. And that is not going to start until you sign up.
Yep. And Ed, I just noticed the ones that you just pointed to. Look, all 3 of the last positions were affected by AI.
Oh, yeah. If it has AI at the end of it, that means AI got involved in that trade. That means AI, the software said the price is lower. I want to buy more. And then it called AI, and AI said, hold on, it's going lower. Wait a minute. And the AI can only really predict about 20 minutes out. It really can't see like an hour from now or 2 hours from now because the market's changing. What you don't realize is, you see this screen looks stagnant, right? It looks like nothing's changing, but the numbers are changing. The numbers are changing so fast that the screen is just taking snapshots. Like once a minute, it takes a picture of what's really going on. This is not your auto trader. This is a web page showing you what your auto trader is doing. Your auto trader's running on my servers like the ever-ready bunny rabbit. They are flying, boy, and all the data that the auto trader needs is all right there internally. It doesn't have to go out to the World Wide Web to get anything. It's all right there because the other programs are feeding it the data that it needs. I mean, it's 25 years of development. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He was only 30 years old. And I said, you realize I've been doing this since you were 5? I mean, seriously, and I like it when younger people come on board because they learn right away that the market doesn't need to be the gambling that's out there.
Yeah.
Some people are just so brain damaged because they think they can conquer the market. I don't know what they're trying to do.
They've been programmed to gamble. And just a thought just crossed my mind. You mentioned the 30-year-old gentleman that came in. If I had this when I was 30 years old, all transparency, I'll be 61 this year. I'd be a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, even at 61, 10 years from now, just pouring money into this trader and it making money.
Oh yeah, the people
that
signed up with my original software, the one that I sold, we were buying Microsoft at 30, all the way up to 400. And it's what I tell people about silver dollars and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not into it, holding silver dollars because you're missing thousands of trades you could be making on SLV in the stock market. There's a stock version of this trader also. And you're missing thousands of trades. We haven't gone into the highest trade count report. Should we do that?
Yeah, we have to get into that because we got to start the Q&A here soon.
Yeah, plus I promised everybody the $1 billion report.
This
There
is
it
the
is.
$1 billion report. And it, and it gets better as I only created this about 8 months ago, which is, I went years without it, and then I said, well, show me the coins that would have given me the most trades last year if I was trading with those coins. And right away, this is the report that came up. And it only had this column here, previous year's trades. And trades means closed trades, closed profitable trades. 1,914 trades in the last 12 months. And then I said, and you can go down and you can see there's Bonk, number 5. Here's Sui. People love Sui. PEP, PEPE. I mean, all these, ASM, XYO, NCT, SPA. I mean, people are all trading these top coins because they're the ones that are giving you the most trades. And so if like, I don't want to put down Bitcoin. It might be good for an heirloom to give to your grandkids or whatever. But it's really not a trading coin. Because on a percentage basis, it doesn't move enough. AC, these coins here can go up 100% in a month or a week or even a day. Whereas Bitcoin is not going to go from 100,000 to 200,000 in a day. We all know that. So if I was looking for, you see, this is I have a number on the left here, this one, going countdown. If I look for Bitcoin, it's on line, it moved from line 310 last month to line 319 this month. So it's actually gone lower. It was given, the average was 300 trades a year in a year, and now it's reduced down to 284 trades in the last 12 months. So then, people in GoBabyTrade don't really trade these bottom feeders. Look at these number of trades. So I said, I'm more interested. I like the numbers to know how many trades it does in a year. But then I said to myself, well, what does it do each month? And look at these numbers. How pathetic can you get? I mean, I want to die. Can you imagine trading? This is like trading the stock market. Stocks don't move. Cryptos rule. You go to the top of this report and look at the monthly trade counts here. Now we're talking money. Now we're talking money. And, so I look for the coins that give me a lot of trades. So not only is the annual number good, but each month, I don't want a coin that has bad numbers. Like even at 22, I don't like it. Like Bitcoin, let's go back to Bitcoin for 1 second. Let me show you something I observed. Its highest month of trades was 35. That's its highest month. And I go up here and look at Bonk. Its lowest month is 37. Bonk's lowest month beat Bitcoin's highest month. And then everything else is above that.
Well, let me put a pin in something. So the reason why now you have a relatively good idea of why I call this the $1 billion report, because as I said, this is aggregated data on a monthly basis that you can't find anywhere else. It's all created by the trader. But look at number 2. Look at SPA. Look across the board. 8 months ago it was 14 and 12. Look what it's done in the last 6 months. The lowest is 25. The highest 55, is 445, 55. Right? 55, sorry. But look at if you owned in April, if you own that coin, we already have established that it's profitable trades, right? If you just had money in that one coin, 230. Now we know minimum strategy is a selling at a 3% profit. It could be higher, but let's just take the lowest. So 230 times 3% meant if you own that in April in isolation, I know I'm giving you an isolated example, that's 690% on your money in 1 month. Now you have a pretty good understanding, and I didn't pick the top 4 but you saw my simulation, Bonk, Pepe, Whiff, and Ando, right? They were all in the top 10 last month, but they're all still pretty high. And you saw the return
Yeah.
it makes. So the
And let me
system
tell you,
really
these
works.
are everybody in GoBabyTrade, man. They are feasting on these. I mean, you can look at traders; they're all trading these coins.
So here's the dirty little secret: you have access to do your homework and own research on this, because and take us back to the front page, and actually
No, I
when I
can't. 'Cause
posted.
I can't go because I'm looking at Ando.
Okay, so
And Whiff. Look at Whiff.
yep, and those are the four, right from information that I didn't have to compile. But if you go to
Oh,
the
it's right
link,
on the website.
right, if you go to the
Click
link before you buy or make any decisions, do your own research. If you click on Casey's discount link, this is the page that it comes to. That highest counts is right there. The videos, there's frequently asked questions. There isn't a stone that we haven't unturned or not turned over.
Let me do a little disclosure here. Let me give everybody a really helpful hint. We get too many questions, and there's one in the Q&A right now being asked by, I believe, a young lady called Christine, and we will answer you. But just listen to this. I hear this question, unfortunately, way too often. And here's the question I hear. I have 7 coins. I want to change 3 of them out to something else. How do I do that? Do yourself a favor. When my kids were growing up and they were young, the best advice I gave to them is don't put yourselves in positions where bad things can happen. So I'm telling all of you, don't put yourself in a position from day one where you're going to be forced to change out 2 or 3 or 4 coins. Pick 3 to 4 good projects, good coins you like, and stay with them, because guess what? What Mr. Barsano has been talking about for 1 hour and 40 minutes is down is good. What does that mean? It's buying lots for you. It's buying positions. You have all these
Preparing
positions.
you. It's
You have all
preparing
these
you for
positions
that
after
bounce.
1 month, and then you want to change that coin out. Guess what? If you hit close, you're going to lose the money that was used to buy those positions. Now, there is another way to do it, which we'll show you, but it takes time. So what we're saying is this: we're not giving financial advice, but I would say 3 things. Number 1, use the default button Mr. Barsano has. Use the coins he used since April of 21 to make all this money. You see the money his trader has made him, okay? Number 2, Edward just shared the 4 coins that are absolutely kicking butt and taking names. Bonk, Whiff, Pepe, and is it Ando? Is that the
Ando.
Ando?
Yeah.
That's an amazing combination.
Christine, send me email. Send email to support@gobabytrade.com, and I'll help you do that.
Yeah. And I'll read her question regardless. But anyway, so Ed, did you want to show something before we go into the Q&A? Did you want to show something? You're on this screen
Oh,
now.
I was gonna show that all you have to do is, if you want to stop trading that coin, you can say stop buying the coin by unchecking allow buy,
Right.
but allow it to continue selling on the wiggles as it's
Correct.
going higher, selling it off.
However, this is a process. This is not overnight. This could take 1, 2, 3 months. So you're
Well,
only
somebody called me.
Yeah.
Somebody called me like 3 weeks ago, and he said, Ed, I don't know if I already said this earlier, but he said, Ed, the market hasn't been moving, it's been going down. And I was getting so many messages, I could tell other people were feeling the same way. And he said, should I stop my auto trader? Because you can halt the auto trader. You can click on this and say stop buying on these coins, right? You can just say stop buying. And I said, and I think I did mention this earlier.
Yeah.
I said, no, don't do that, because the biggest money you're going to make is the stuff that was bought at the bottom.
Right.
And you know what happened? The very next day, this is like a week ago, the next 4 days in a row, up.
Well,
He
that's
sold
when
all that
we
stuff off for a beautiful profit. If he would have stopped his auto trader, man, that would have been crazy.
you told us that story when Edward and I visited with you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that story.
So it was a little longer than I thought it was. I thought it was like a week ago.
No, it was more like a month and 5 weeks ago. Okay, Take off your jacket, Ed. Your favorite part.
Q&A, baby. Let's go.
Q&A.
I love the Q&A session.
All right. So,
See, we're willing to take on anything. Anything you got, just throw it out there, because I've heard every question you could ask. I've heard people say, if this is real, there'd be no crypto market. If this was real, he wouldn't be sharing it with you. I've heard all the negative stuff. And the one question I hate is, what happens if you die? And my answer to that is, what is it, my complexion? Why is everybody asking me if I'm going to die all the time?
all right,
My son has been doing this for 15 years. He's 35. Since he
Yeah.
was in high school, he was doing these or college. No, actually, maybe longer than 15 years. You know, since he was 15, he's been programming. And he's a master programmer. Sometimes we're sitting side by side and he's there programming and I'm here, and I'll just sit back like this and just watch. And I'm like, dear Lord, Stephen, he is so smart. It's mind-boggling, man.
That's
I mean,
great.
it freaks me out. And I worked at Microsoft for 9 years. So yeah, he's very, very good. Don't worry about it. And the answer to that is, what happens if Stephen dies? You better ask that question, because I got to figure out what the heck he did. Don't worry.
All right, so I'll start in with the first question from David. Is there a way to quote unquote restart the trader? And the reason he's asking, he says, I've had it working great for weeks, and then Coinbase asked me to reconfirm my KYC. I missed the Coinbase deadline and they turned off trading, and it's been fixed since that, but my trader is not trading, even though it shows trading anonymously and the button to halt trading is active. Can you help?
Shoot me an email.
Yep. Support at GoBabyTrade.com.
I can help you, because we'll go through your strategy. Strategy is simple. It's only one page. No more 10 screens of things to blow yourself up. It's one page of settings, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure out what's going on with each coin, why they aren't trading. And some people have like 40, 50 coins, and I help them whittle that down to 5. Because you're spreading your money all over. I watched somebody getting all these trades all day long, and by the end of the day, he made $1.50. I'm like, what the heck? It's because you spread your money out to all those coins. You don't have any shares. You want to have, a good portion of your money in these coins. See the percents in each coin. So when they jump, you make good money.
Right.
You don't want to be having 1%, 2% of your money in each coin, because then you just don't have enough money. And, if you're trading with $2,000, which is perfectly fine, you don't want to be trading 10 coins.
No.
So we can help you with all that.
Edward, you want to grab Joshua and then I'll grab Robert?
Actually, I've got an easy one. This is actually more of it's a question, but he says, Dan says, Mr. Barsano, when are you going to have a meet and greet with all the GoBabyTrade clients after the 2025 Bitcoin crypto bull run? So may not be a bad idea to eventually have our own GoBabyTrade community
convention.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know anybody that has any other strategy or any other tools out in the marketplace that is trading the market smarter and more profitably than this community.
We've done this great, Attila, we've had meetings with hundreds of people coming.
Yes. So we've done it before, and it's a great question, Dan, and we will consider that for the future for sure.
And you're invited. Yeah. So actually,
I mean, we even invited, what's his name, Bruce Jenner.
Oh yeah, I got a picture with Bruce Jenner when Bruce Jenner was still Bruce Jenner, and I've got it was in my camera, and then on my camera I was taking my son to baseball practice. I put it on top of my car while I was getting his glove, and I drove away, and my phone flew off my car, and those pictures are lost forever.
Oh boy.
Well, so Bruce Jenner goes up to give a speech, and he said, I can tell you everything about this trading system. You know why? Because I had lunch with Ed Barsano.
That's funny.
I just bent his ear, man, the whole time, man.
So Joshua, Can you give us any insight on how the trader determines the percentage of funds to use for each purchase or lot size?
There's a lot. I mean,
Well,
a lot of the calculations are enormous, you
That's
know.
point. That's part A. Besides increasing available funds or reducing the number of coins to trade, is there any way we can increase the percentage of funds used per lot?
Now, see, there you go. Now, there's the question that when you say that, my question to you back is, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to put more money in each trade? What's the purpose of it? If you could answer that, please.
Well, Joshua, to give credit to Joshua, this is very early on in the presentation, actually before we started talking technical stuff. So I think probably by now there's an illumination, right? Is more money in the trader or forcing it to use more money is only hurting yourself because when you put the $10,000 in, 2,000, whatever it is, it doesn't look like it's using it, but it actually has already calculated and positioned that money. Ed, you didn't tell the story this time, but you talk about the toll booths that it builds. So it has predetermined purchase prices.
It's
So if you
using the
go in,
money. It's just not buying coins with it.
right, right,
And
right, it's
and
already pre-allocated.
is 100% a year return enough? I mean, is it because if you start using more of your money up here, you start entering gamble territory. My son lives in Vegas, okay? So I could go to a casino, put all my money on 00 on the roulette wheel and spin the wheel. And if it wins, hey, look at that, I'm a genius. But what if it doesn't win? How do you handle losers? Well, you just spent all your money. It's too late. You have no more money to do anything. The auto trader is all about handling the losers. Understand the bucket and the well. Study it. You can go to edbarsano.com and see that bucket. edbarsano.com, and you'll see the bucket and the well, and watch it just keep taking money forever. And that's what you want. You don't want to go all in at the top, because then when it goes lower, you have no more money to buy down here. And if your goal is to make 100% a year, which is Warren Buffett would love that, right? Do you think that who gets 100% a year? If they could get that, they would love this system. They just probably don't know I exist. But trying to get more than that, trying to get 10,000% a year and all, you've entered gamble territory.
Yep.
So the answer is you
A
don't want
twist
to.
on that, an answer that's a twist on that is that if you wanted to buy more and you wanted to make more, then set a schedule where you're constantly depositing
Put
money
more money in.
into USDC.
I
And
mean, I've seen
and
people start with $500. I
right.
watch people start with $500 and then add $100 a month. I have younger people that have done that, and I share it with when younger people come on and I see they start with like $500. I say add $100 a month. In a year, they've invested $1,700 into the trader, and the auto trader turns that into over $2,500. And the next year after that, they're into the 5,000 range and up, and away they go. It doesn't take long at all.
Yep.
Compound.
Remember the quote that I just gave you from Warren Buffett. Wealthy people are wealthy because they invest their money.
Okay, let me
Don't feel like, and you're, by the way, Josh, that's a common question. I get that literally every day, by the way.
Yeah. And what do I say? I say, don't try to figure out or overthink or outsmart over 2.5 million lines of code.
Yeah, can't do it.
And and growing.
Okay, so Russ and Lou Ann have an interesting comment. They say, Ed, you're going to love this. They say, Ed's trader is like a broken slot machine that keeps paying off.
I like that. That's
So-
cool.
So,
No, I like the guy that said he bought a case of Smart Water.
all right, so Robert's got a great question, and I'll answer this one because I know the answer. It's easy. He says, when I deposit cash into, this will help everybody else also considering the trader. When I deposit cash into Coinbase or Kraken, can I leave it as cash for the bot to trade, or do I have to purchase Bitcoin for the bot to start trading? No, you don't have to purchase Bitcoin. Kraken, you can only use USD, US dollar. But Coinbase, the reason most of CryptoCasey's members go to Coinbase is because there you could put it into USDC, which is a stable coin. And there are inherent advantages to keeping your money and always staying in a stable coin, which is still a crypto. There's tax advantages, actually. Now, a word of warning. When you're with Coinbase and you want the trader to trade properly and you've got your funds allocated to USDC, you cannot have even more than $1 sitting in USD. So clear out that USD account and have zero in there.
I fixed that. I changed that.
Oh, really? So
You
that's
can
no
now go to
longer...
you can go to the crypto the exchange preferences screen where you put in the API keys. Underneath that, it shows how much money you have in USD and USDC if you're in Coinbase, and you could select USDC. And so no matter how much money's in USD, it's ignored.
Oh, that's awesome.
great. We didn't even know that.
You can just pick the one you want.
Now that
used to be if you even had $1 in USD, it prioritized and used it.
Okay,
but
so
now you can select which one you want.
That's brilliant, because that actually answers a question that most people usually ask. And the question is this: if Ed Barsano during the 3-year license comes up with some kind of enhancement or modification that benefits all of us and something changes for the better, is there a cost to that? No, there's no additional cost to something like Mr. Barsano just explained he did. I didn't even know he did that. And guess what? I'm not paying a penny more for my 3-year license just because he improved something.
No.
Also,
and I added these videos about a month ago.
Oh, the videos are great. We're
on
getting
every page.
Great feedback on that, Ed.
On every page.
Yeah, that's tremendous. So the second part of Robert's question is, CryptoCasey suggested to join Coinbase One, where there's a $30 a month fee. Is it worth it? Well, yes, I do know whether it's worth it or not. If you use Coinbase a lot, it's worth it, because you do reduce your fees. In trading fees are reduced tremendously. There's 2 benefits to doing it with the trader connected to Coinbase. Number one, USDC does pay an interest. You get a little bit of a higher interest if you have Coinbase One. The second part of that is you get a small 20 to 25% rebate of your fees because you belong to Coinbase One. So
right. And they generate a report at the end of the year for taxes.
Yes, true that.
So okay, yeah, a lot of people like Coinbase One. It's popular.
You want to grab Scott's question there?
Sure, Scott, as the market changes, will you be adjusting the algorithms? Oh, great question. On occasion, quarterly, annually, et cetera. Is it possible that the market functions differently a year from now and beyond? So I know the answer because you've shared it, Ed, but would you share your thoughts with Scott?
Sure. We've been in a down market for the last 3 years. See my prop? We've been in this down market for the last 3 years on a downtrend. Now, during that 3 years, you saw big days where things jumped, multiple days, even 100% in a day, some coins. But we've still been in a long-term downtrend, okay? And the auto trader knows how to handle perfectly this downtrend. And and every time we get big jumps, we got all that inventory, we sell it all off, we're doing wonderful. So there isn't a lot to change because the auto trader is already designed to handle up and down markets. However, we are going to be in uncharted territory when the market turns into a long-term uptrend. I'm already freaking out. That's going to be amazing. Like on January 27th, when ACH jumped from 2 cents to 5.5 cents, that was because most clients are trading the coins I'm trading. So tens of thousands of orders went. All these closed orders, man, were thousands. I mean, so many thousands of orders. I mean, I sent thousands of orders myself, let alone, I mean, my auto trader, let alone all the other clients. And you'd be surprised, Coinbase and Kraken handled it. I was amazed. I was amazed. I thought they were going to crash for sure. And they sucked up those orders. Kraken was a little slow giving us the answer back saying it was filled, but if you logged into Kraken, you could see it was filled. I was amazed. I'm like, all right, this is cool. They really handled, that was a good test. A good testament to what they can handle. And so there isn't much to change without thinking you want it, because you don't know you're in an uptrend, because that uptrend is temporary, and you got a lot of inventory to sell during the uptrend, so you're making all this money anyway. So no, you don't really want to change stuff. I did change in November. The default strategy had 2%, add on 2% drops and take 2% profits. When I say take 2% profits, there's pauses built into the system. You could be taking 19%. You could be taking 100%. You're not always just taking 2%. The AI can slow down the selling also, so I mean, we have pauses, like 60-minute pauses between the buys, no more than buying 2 lots in a day if it's just going straight down. You don't really need to change this stuff. You really don't want to change anything in the strategy. Attila will tell you that over and over again. Most people don't fiddle with this strategy at all. Leave it alone. There's
I mean,
not
it's been refined over 25 years. Why would you want to change it?
You want to
yeah,
blow
it's been
yourself up.
refined.
Right.
Yeah, if you're a masochist and you want to blow yourself up, go ahead and change something there.
Some people do, they go through and change stuff, and it's okay. You can change stuff, But if you put all your money in right away, you'll be calling me and say, how come my auto trader's not trading? A perfect example, someone opened an account with $42,000. Okay? The auto trader bought $2,000 worth of crypto with that on the first day. Left 40,000 of cash for the auto trader to use. If you go up at the top, it had $40,000, like 10,000 in each one of these, right? Available. She went to Coinbase and bought $40,000 worth of XRP. And then called me and said, how come my auto trader quit trading? Well, when she bought $40,000 worth of XRP, where did the 40,000 come from? It took it out of the 10,000 that it had for each coin. There it is. Now you don't have any money to trade. Your auto trader's not trading. I don't know what she was thinking, And so, but yeah, you don't. But anyways, in November, the default strategy had it set to 2% profits. I'm going to go here and show you right here. Profit goal was set to 2%. And adding at the bottom here, add shares on price drops, 2%. And I set my trader, I noticed that the market was really starting to heat up after being in this big downtrend for 3 years. So I changed my strategy to 3%, and I sent email to every client. And I said, hey, I'm changing my strategy because I know a lot of people want to do what I'm doing. I'm changing my strategy to 3%, those indicators from 2% to 3%, and because the market's heating up and I feel like we should raise that. And then I changed the default strategy for new clients to 3%. And then at the bottom of the email, I said, if anybody wants me to do it for them, just reply to this email because I can hit the database and do everybody at once, whoever wants it. And I got like 600 replies back. People were lying and everything. Oh, I'm in the hospital. Can you do it for me? I'm on the road. It's like, no, you're not. You're just lazy. It's one screen, simple change, but it's okay. I'm joking. I didn't mind it at all. It gives me a chance to look at your strategy and see if I see anything wrong in case you did something. So I was happy to go into those traders and take a look. I don't look at your trader unless you're telling me. I have access to all the traders, obviously, because it's web-based, and that makes support very easy. The old system was downloadable software. It was running on your computer. If you're in Australia, it was running on your computer. I mean, how can I help you unless I connect to your computer? But now it's web-based. It's running on my servers. I see what you see, and I can help you.
Yep.
So to answer your question, you know, there aren't many changes. There's nothing really needed to change. And we're all in the same boat. Hey, if this market turns up and we get some crazy bullish market like I haven't seen yet, none of us have seen it in the last 3 years. We did see it. I will say this. We saw it from April of 21 when I turned on the Auto Trader to October of 21. And I'm going to tell you, man, the market, some of you may remember that. The market was flying. I was getting 20 closed trades a day. I had my laptop laying next on an end table next to my bed. And in the morning, I would just lift the lid to see how much I made while I was sleeping. It was crazy, and it was thousands, man. I'm like, this is crazy. And then we hit the October, they call it the crypto winter, right? That hit in October of 21. And as soon as it did that, I said, I've seen that pattern before. I saw it in 2008 with the housing market. When they pushed, or the banking stocks, they pushed those banking stocks down to $1. All the amateurs got out, Joe Public, that were margining and everything. We don't margin, by the way, no gambling here. They got out, and then, and the wealthy, of course, loaded up at $1 a share. And then they rocketed those bank stocks to $50 a share. The rich got richer, and the little guy got suckered, just like always.
Ed, wouldn't you agree that that's what the manipulation has been in the crypto market as well?
Yeah. So in October of 21, as soon as that market crashed like that, I said, they're looking for the biggest payday ever, boy. This is going to be the big one. They're looking for 10,000% returns here. They're not messing around. And they've been pushing this market down for 3 years, and we've been cleaning up while they were doing it. So even though the prices were going lower, we're still buying and selling. I don't care if it stays down here forever, but I know what they're doing because I see Joe Public is getting out. They're panicking. Every time we have a big down day, people panic and sell. Not in GoBabyTrade though, because we're taking profits constantly.
Over the
So
last 3
it
years,
stays
or
at the bottom forever.
over the last 3 years, or any time in between, if you had the trader, you're very happy. If you have been in crypto, and a lot of people have, those that have not owned the trader but now do own the trader, right? If in the last 3-4 years you got into crypto, you got to be pissed because the market,
Oh, you
every
gotta
time
be
you
jumping
buy,
off a bridge. You gotta be jumping off a bridge by now.
it just keeps going straight down. But in a
They're
was
scaring
overly excited
everybody
about it
out.
before, right? Is that in an 80% plus down market, this is still returning triple digits. And then now, good God, what's going to happen when the trader actually sees a sustained bull market?
Yeah, and we're all in uncharted territory there. That's going to be remarkable. I can't wait.
It already is.
And then and like I said, see this, take this amount if reached right here? Because I had this like set to 500. If it reaches 500, just give it to me. Forget the 3%. And so a lot of those, when the market's jumping, see, the market doesn't move like a lot of people think. It's not like the stock market, where the stock market inches its way up and inches its way down. The crypto market jumps. It jumps around. And so you got to grab those profits. There's an indicator here that I want to get rid of. And I'm public with this. I'm very open. This indicator right here, I want to get rid of. This one here that says pullback after reaching goal. Right here. People put numbers in there, and I'm like, I wouldn't do it. I want to get rid of it. Because when the auto trader sees the 3% or 12% profit, because it'll jump up like that, and you might be up 19%. It'll just pop up there. And then the auto trader calls the AI and says, do you think it's going to go higher? If the AI says it's not going to go higher, then take it. Don't wait for a pullback. You might get a 19% pullback in 1 minute. So, and that just last night I was helping someone with that, and I'm like, I got to get rid of that indicator, man. It's waiting for this pullback that he put in there. Why? It's already profitable. And the guy's actually sending me emails saying, how come my auto trader's not taking the profit? It's like, you put the pullback. You're waiting for it to pull back.
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of this indicator. You watch. Pretty soon that'll be gone. And just like the 10 screens of indicators that when I said people were blowing themselves up, I whittled it down to 1. I'm going to get rid of that.
So here we have a simple question. Dan says, Ed, when will you implement dark mode to the GoBabyTrade interface?
What's dark mode?
Dark mode is where the background is dark and the
Oh.
and the characters are, it's usually a black and white type of thing, but it's so
I don't know.
it's so you can look at your trader in the dark. So some people like that.
Never.
Yeah,
I have no
never.
idea how to do it. And my priority is making money, making these auto traders crank out money. So anytime somebody says, oh, this looks like a 1990s app and all that, it's like, you know what? If you were 80 years old, you love this. It's a big screen, big numbers. You can see the numbers. I don't need
Without
the
your glasses
to see the numbers, and some of those other websites, they got drop down menus all over the place. They're asking you to do all this stuff. I mean, you're dead already as soon as you sign up. I mean, I saw one website, one trader out there. Someone sent me an email, and I don't do it. I don't like to do it, but somebody sent me an email and said, what do you think of this AI trader? So I clicked on it. Normally, I wouldn't waste my time, but I clicked on it. And the first thing it said on the screen is, you can pick from 1 to 50 strategies. Goodbye. Which one? You got 50 strategies? Oh, what strategy? I got 50. Goodbye.
You have one strategy, make money. So
Yeah, that's the
Attila,
strategy. Crank out money for life. There's the strategy.
Attila, would you do me a favor? Would you grab the next 1 or 2 questions? Ed, I'm going to borrow the screen back because something just hit me in the head about your money management, and I want to bring up my trader again, and I'm going to show you something.
Yep. So Chuck's got a couple questions here. How often is the top trader report updated? I didn't understand what you guys said about that. I want my name on that report. So I just want to know when to expect.
I haven't. Yeah, it's supposed to be updated every month, but I don't because there's manual aspects to the report, because so many people have $1 million accounts, it'll flood the report, and I don't like that. I don't want people to think they need $1 million to trade, and I know that would discourage people. I like to just use regular, and plus I'll be honest, there's a lot of people doing manual things. Anybody does one manual trade, they cannot show up on this report.
Yep.
And that knocks out a lot of people. I've got thousands of clients, and it knocks out a lot of people because they went up there and they did a manual trade. I'm like, goodbye. I can't trust the report now because you did manual stuff. And thousands of people get knocked off the report because of that. That's a big
interesting.
That's a big.
He's also asking on the highest.
I'm trying to find how to get off the screen. How to.
No, that's me. I already kicked you out. That's my.
Oh, all right. I was wondering.
On the highest trade count, just a follow-up question from Chuck. On the highest trade count report, when will the coins with over 6 months of existence make it to that report?
Well, because they have to have a year's worth of data, yeah.
Okay.
That's the problem. Because they would end up pretty far down, probably.
That's the highest trade count now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the highest trade count report.
So Ed, let me draw your attention to something, and everybody else, obviously, not just Ed. So I showed this before, but something didn't make sense to me, right? You talked about the money management. I went, wait a minute, let me go look and see how much money it actually has utilized and deployed in that 39 days. This is going to blow your brain. Okay. So you look at in 39 days, 17,000, it's obviously made more money recently. But if you go to the edit strategy page, I believe, or maybe it's select currency. So I apologize. I looked this up.
Both the select currencies and edit strategy go to the same page. One just
good.
goes to the top.
Great.
The other one
takes a second for it to come up. Okay. Whoops. Skipping around.
And you notice the view videos for each section.
Right, and view videos. But look at this. So I calculated based on an annual basis, based on the assumption that it deployed all 100,000. It didn't. It's only deployed 12,000. It's only, with all of this money left to be used, it's only used out of the 100,000. That's the cash remaining. So 12,000 and change. So now that changes your perspective. It's now made, let me go back. Okay, so it only has been working with approximately, let's just say 15,000. 15,000 in 39 days has made 17,000.
Yeah.
If that doesn't blow your brain, or maybe I'm looking at, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but it's only
You are. The market value of the coins that you're currently sitting on is right here.
right.
So
Hold on a second.
10.
Nope, you're pointing, and I'm showing my screen. So
Oh, market value, right under portfolio shows the
right.
value of the coins that you have opened.
Okay. Right. But what I'm saying is it still has, whoops, it's bouncing around.
Oh,
It
yeah,
still has
you
80,
have all this funds available. Yeah, you
right.
have 20, yeah, 40.
$87,927.19. Cash still available to
Oh, right,
deploy,
okay.
right?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Wouldn't the true number be under funds used? Because those are the funds used, Ed. Doesn't that mean the money's used to produce the money's
It
made?
is. I understand all right, Edward, what's happening is you're adding in the profits.
Right. I am adding in the profits.
So it's actually using this much, the funds used, if you add up that column.
Right.
But that's out of 117,000.
Right.
It's not
So
out of
still,
100,000.
so let's do the numbers here. 95.68. I'll be real quick on this. Plus 77.57. Plus 4,000, let's say. Plus
And plus
7,800. Right.
Yeah, so we're looking at 29,000, just a tad over 29,000 to produce that 16 or 17,000 or whatever you made.
Correct. Yeah,
you
I apologize if
Yeah.
my math is wrong, but I'm just now showing you that it's only deployed, right? When you're talking
Right.
about all in,
Most
or
of the money's sitting on the sideline. And that's
Right.
why people say, I want more of my money working. And I'm like, well, technically it is working. It's being used in all the calculations. One person asked me last night, she said, well, can't I just take all that money that I'm not using and go and do something else with it? I said, well, if you take it out of the account, then the auto trader doesn't have it, then it's not going to have money it can't use it in its calculations. It's got to be there.
right. Thank you for allowing me to explore that, because even if you're talking about, let's say it's $30,000 deployed in 39 days to make a return of 17,000, sign me up.
I know. And again, I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not a marketer. I couldn't sell candy when I was in 6th grade. Believe me, I tried to go door to door. I couldn't sell it. I couldn't sell one candy bar in like 4 blocks. And
What'd
then
you do?
I thought it was a trick. And the guy that in the van, he said, it's not the street, it's you. He had all the history of that block. And he said, they all sell a lot of them. I sell one candy bar.
What'd you
I'm
do?
not a
Get the rest?
marketer. But I'm going to tell you this, the sooner you get in, the sooner it begins. And waiting for something down the road, I mean, get in and get the ball going, because you want to start building inventory. That inventory is what's really going to pay off.
Okay, so onward and forward we go. Michael Fox, gents, I'm in the UK with a Coinbase account. Can I use the trader in the UK? Absolutely, we have many clients over there. Also, what about security? I assume it's down to the Coinbase account regarding cash, but what about the coins held? Are they just sitting within the Coinbase account instead of an offline wallet? Yes, it is. Coinbase is a public company. They custody, which means they hold securely, safe and securely, the crypto of many, many large institutions. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of crypto. So it's a safe place. Now, yes, not your keys, not your crypto still applies, but in the world of trading, it's a great place to trade, and it's a great platform to use. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Ed?
Yeah, I had a trade ledger, that thing you plug into the side of your computer,
Yeah.
of your laptop. And I programmed 2 of them a few years ago before I automated the market. And so I figured, I'm gonna do, everybody's talking about this DeFi, stored offline, cold storage stuff. So I bought 2 of them because I'm like, boy, if this thing, if it doesn't work, if I can't log in, I want to be able to have a backup. So I programmed 2 of them and I threw one in the safe, along with the keywords and all, right? And one day, for no reason, I couldn't log in. It just wouldn't let me log in. I typed in my password, it wouldn't work. And then I went to the keywords and all that, those seed words, whatever they were. It would not work. So I pulled out the backup, stuck it in, boom, I was in. As soon as I got in, all I owned was Shiba Inu that I bought at Qcoin, another exchange. Before I even automated Coinbase, I opened the Coinbase account, but I hadn't automated it yet. As soon as I plugged in the backup, I was in. And as soon as I got in, I transferred everything to Coinbase. I said, man, I trust Coinbase more than I do these crazy devices. And right now, they're sitting in my drawer, both of them. People ask me, hey, can I buy them from you? No, I don't even know what's on these things. I'll smash them with a hammer before I give them to anybody, man. But they're sitting in my drawer, 2 of them. Junk. I'm not a cold storage guy. I trust Coinbase more than I do those devices. Every person that's ever gotten hacked so far that I can see, let people into their account. That was a person fault. Somebody a few months ago, someone sent people were getting text messages that said someone's trying to access your account from Pakistan or from Russia. They changed the country, right? And they said, if it's not you, call this number. Who would call that number? So people called the number and they were talking to a hacker and they said, yeah, your computer's hacked. We need to get those coins moved over into a safe place. So they actually, the hacker was telling them on the phone, step by step, how to move their coins into the hacker's account. And you know what saved them? The allow list feature. The allow list security feature on Coinbase, if you activate that, and believe me, every Coinbase client turns that on. If you turn that on, it prevents transfers for 48 hours. So if someone wants to try to transfer their coins, they have to add their address, their destination address, to the allow list address book. And then Coinbase sends you an email that says someone just added an address to your address book. And then you have 48 hours before they let that transfer go through. So within that 48 hours, they call me. And I'm like, let's get in there and delete that. That's a hacker. So we went in the menu in GoBabyTrade, and Edward, you can show it. Well, you're not, no, you are live, right?
No, I can
Oh,
I can show you.
okay.
Hang on.
All right, but in the menu, it would show the allow list link to take you right to Coinbase. It would be down at the bottom of that menu. Okay.
Yep.
So it takes you right to that page, and then we deleted the address. We deleted that address that he put in there. So anyways, we're all about security. We are all about security, and Coinbase has no ability to do anything. People ask that, can I steal their coins and all? No. When you create the API key, it even says on there what you're allowing GoBabyTrade to do with that key, the API key. And that API key is, you give it view permission so GoBabyTrade can see your account, and then you give it trade permission. And right under that is the third one, says transfer permission. Do not check that. If anybody ever tells you to check the transfer permission, you got to shut them down, because you don't.
Yeah.
They will.
Let me also add real quick that I've been in this game almost 5 years full time in blockchain, DeFi, crypto, and the hacks that I've seen are always the under the radar, lesser known crypto exchanges if it's centralized. There has been a hack, by the way, on the cold wallet, which is what's the most common one? The most
Ledger.
the
Trade
ledger.
ledger.
There has been a hack on that, by the way. And
See, I'm
that was
afraid of those cold storage things, man. I trust
that
Coinbase to
that
manage.
was
to not
disturbing.
go
But
on.
the main thing to know about Coinbase and Kraken and all the others, they know very, very well. Believe me, they know if they experience one major hack, they're out of business. Nobody will
Yeah.
ever trust them again. So you have no idea how much money and resources they throw at security. It's crazy if you knew the number.
Yeah.
Multi hundreds of millions of dollars. So
And we put a message up every day, the first thing in the morning when you log into your trader, right there on the screen, a big box comes up with a message that
yeah,
says, if you don't have the allow list feature turned on, turn it on now with a link.
exactly.
So you can click it. And it says on there, never, if someone calls you and says they're calling from Coinbase or Kraken, I say they never call you, don't answer. But if
Yeah.
you did get a call and you answered, which, and then I put in parentheses, which you shouldn't do, never click on any links, never give them any information, never any keys or anything like that. And
Yeah.
don't follow instructions. They shouldn't be calling you. And
Yep, I'll share. I'll share a real life
but
story.
it's
A friend of mine about 3 months ago got a message from what he thought was Coinbase, and it was, "Hey, you need to redo your KYC. All you do is click on this link. It'll bring up, and you give your face recognition and the round and round like you would do going through the KYC for the first time." Well, uh, they alerted him that somebody was trying to steal his crypto. Well, they were the hackers. He went through all that authorization. 2 weeks later, he got another call. They went in, and I don't, why he never called me, I don't know, except to tell me after it happened. He says, "Well, they called me next and said I needed to do it again. But when I went back into my account, what I realized was it was okay because they took all the coins that I had and they consolidated them and transferred it into Bitcoin. And I was okay with that because Bitcoin was going up." I'm like, what are you thinking? 2 weeks later, he reauthorized it again, went through the whole elongated scam. And what happened? He goes, "Well, one day I went in, the next day I went in, and I no longer had any Bitcoin." I'm like, dude, nobody would have done that except for somebody that was trying to steal your stuff. And he contacted Coinbase, and Coinbase goes, "Sorry, man."
you did it. You did it. They didn't get hacked. You got hacked. So, we're here. Edward's here. Attila's here. I'm here. You ever get any kind of stuff like that, shoot us an email. I get emails from people, and the minute they text me or something, I look at it and right away I say, that's a hacker.
Yep. And I'm going to post it again. Apologize. I didn't mean to talk over you. Okay. I'm going to post it again. 2 email addresses, RCT Marketing Systems, and you see me, Financial Intelligence. We kind of all work the same, but the two entities are direct support for CryptoCasey's audience. If you have a non-technical-ish question, like a lot of the stuff that's in the Q&A, feel free to send an email to support@rctmarketingsystems.com. And if you have a little bit more technical, like Ed's responded and invited a couple of people to send emails, more technically based questions, send an email to support@GoBabyTrade.com. But yes, thank you to echo what Ed said is we're here as a community to help support, help ask questions. No one is going to be left in the dark. You're not going to be on some automated chat. You're not going to be on something other than the
Believe
real.
me, we're not going to spam you. We're not doing that.
Not at all.
And you join a club. Really, you're joining the club. That's why it's a 3-year license. There's no monthly subscriptions, that kind of stuff. You're joining a club for 3 years, really, and we're all working together to conquer the market.
Yep.
All right. Onward we go. Edward, want to get Christina?
Yes, Christina's got a couple I have a question about closing out a coin. There are probably several ways. I have been given the coin 0 purchase and not changing the check boxes. The problem is that the coin packets will then sit there and not sell off for days. The only time I have seen them sell is when it hit the $100 in profit, that that's in the default setting. What's the best way to close out a coin so the software will close out the coin at the appropriate time? We kind of covered that, and I think Christina, maybe you asked the question prior to, but it's allowing it to sell and simply unchecking the box. Don't buy any more, just allow it to sell.
But see, this goes back to my original point of don't, please, everybody out there that's on this Zoom today, do not put yourself in a position where you are going to want to get out of coins. You're creating a mess for yourself. It can be
But
done.
it happens though. But it
It
happens.
happens, I know, but it's better to be proactive and do it right the first time. And that's why I sound like a broken record. But I keep emphasizing, because I'm the one that gets the questions. They come to me. I see them way more often.
And me, I
Yeah,
see
and
them
that
too. And I help people. I've got a guy on my schedule today already, Attila. He's got 40 coins and he's asking me, can you help me? It's okay. There are more. He's not the only one. He's asked me to help him whittle it down to 5 coins, and I'm going to do that after our webinar. And that's okay. We help. It's okay. That's,
well, that's
we're all in different boats. Hey, I can't fix a headlight on a car, so don't call me a genius. All right. Can you share your screen, Attila, Edward?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Attila. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can keep talking while he's sharing his screen.
Yeah, no, I always overemphasize that because if you choose 3 to 4 really good projects and good coins in the beginning, you don't have to change them out. These things are so volatile. It's insane. So anyway,
but they're not in these coins. What they're talking about is getting rid of some obscure coins that really aren't even, they're not at the top of the highest trade count report.
But I'm talking to the people that have not purchased yet, and they
own coins.
They're about to choose which coins when they buy the trader and the license. They're going to have to choose which coins. They could hit default and they'll go into your 3 ACH, GRT, and Shiba Inu. Fantastic 3 coins. Or they could do what Edward's doing here: Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, With. Other than that, you're on your own. But choose wisely, because again, you don't want to be going in and out of these things. That's not the method to the madness here. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, you're never on your own when you're with us, because
no, you're not.
Of course not.
Yeah, and we're, just so you know, it's not promising a timeline, but we're also going to lift a if you've heard of School, SKOOL. We're working in the background to be able to invite people into a community that allows everybody that is in the trader. It's a private domain, private school community.
Right.
But then everybody can benefit from everybody's experiences, and it becomes this ecosystem that simply grows on itself, right? We can plant all the right seeds. People ask what I do for a living. I tell them I'm a gardener. I plant seeds and then put people in a position where they can learn, and then they can, we're semi-adults. I mean, I'm 61. I act like I'm 14. Just ask my wife. Ed can probably comment as well. But
the secret to staying young forever is immaturity, and I've mastered that.
Then I'm going to live to 1,000. But the idea is that we're expanding this community to where everybody's going to benefit from everybody's positivity and experience. Because look, you turn on the live box every day, right? Right. I'm talking about the TV, the bad news box, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
What's in it for that? Here, I hope that, and most of you have stuck around. We're always amazed at the people that stay with us, because we're simply here to spread good news, to give you opportunities, right? I went to school for, 106 years. I didn't learn any of this. Nobody told me about any of it. But now you have an opportunity where you're exposed to something that's good news. Not trying to talk you in or out of anything. Do your own research. Right. You got all of these assets, and hopefully you've enjoyed some of the things that we've shared. But we're not here to beat anybody up. We're here to enlighten you.
I am. Let's beat them up.
No.
But Christina's question, how do you know when to get out and stuff like that? You see the open positions P&L right under portfolio, the next column. Yeah, that column. If you were down like $5 on a coin, then just hit close. If you want to be done with it, hit close. Hit close for a second. Let me show them the screen if you don't mind. It won't close. Oh, you have to put your password. The interface locks after 20 minutes of no activity. And then you just put your password in. So just in case you don't want a little kid executing trades. All right, so if you hit close, you notice the checkbox down there, stop the trader from purchasing more. So if you check that and then confirm, it'll close the position and it won't buy anymore. So that's one way to get rid of the coin for good and stop the auto trader from trading it. However, I don't like to do it if the open positions P&L is down too much. I don't want to sell things at a big loss. In that case, go to select currencies. In that case, I would rather just uncheck the allow buy on a coin like that. What it does, oh, put it back, put the check back on. And now look on the left how much money it's allocating. 29,000 is tied up in that coin. Now uncheck allow buy. Now that 29,000 is going to be available for the rest of the coins. So hit spread percents equally. And you see it raised how much money each of the other coins has now because it took that 29,000 and it spread it out to the other three coins. As long as you don't save, nothing will change here. So that's another way to get rid of the coins. And I heard you say that it didn't close it out timely or whatever. Well, it's only gonna, if you do it this way, it's only gonna close it out when it's profitable. As it's wiggling, it'll slowly sell them off. But the other choice is close it out altogether and just be out of it. I don't prefer to do that. You notice I have no manual trades in my trader.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you anyway. So
while we're on the screen, let me bring up if you guys missed Crypto Casey live with us a couple of weeks ago. She came up
that
with
was great.
she analyzed something within the trader and went, hey, listen, I like to buy Bitcoin, but I like to I've been dollar cost averaging manually for a very long time. I just discovered something that I want to be able to tell my audience, and she did the go look for how she uses it, the trader for dollar cost averaging. And she called me on a Monday and said, I just figured out something my audience needs to know. Can I be on the webinar? We're like, well, yeah, this is your audience to begin with. So those of you that like to accumulate Bitcoin, right? So you would say,
or any coin.
Oh, yeah, okay. In this case, the Crypto Casey example,
Yep.
BTC, right? So you would allow it. You would put it in there. You would obviously have to distribute funds to it, or percentages or funds.
So leave the allow buy checked.
Yeah, sorry, leave the allow buy and uncheck the allow sell. So as it goes and smartly buys on pullbacks and drops, it will dollar cost average buy much smarter than you can, particularly as people normally dollar cost average, is they'll say, okay, every 2 weeks, put $100 into XYZ or BTC, right? In this case, you allocate the funds and it will go just smartly accumulate as the market moves. Yeah. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
It'll put you in at the right times. You know, a lot of people when they think of dollar cost averaging, they're just going in all wrong. And you know, they're not really reducing their average cost. They're actually increasing their average cost. Mm-hmm. And the auto trader, you know, clears that up. Doesn't do it, you know, does it do it right.
Right.
All right, we have just a few questions remaining. Let me ask.
Well, we have another half hour, so.
Joe said that when he puts in crypto.gobabytrade.com, Malwarebytes gets in the way and says that's a bogus site or something like that. And then another gentleman, Julian, came on and said, I have the same question. In my case, this only happens in Windows when I first open the trader. This never happens on my Mac. So I've never seen that personally. Have you?
Me either. Oh, Malwarebytes. Yeah, you can just add. That's that free. I think it's free.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but you can add the address to the whitelist, and we'll bypass it. Or this is not advice, is just as an example. Nord Nord has a great. As a matter of fact, if you're a Crypto Casey fan, everybody here is. Go look for her video when she talks about the Nord suite, and you can get that at a discount, and it's way better than malware bytes. That is.
But you could whitelist your address in Malwarebytes?
I've not used it for quite some time, but the older version you could
Okay.
you could whitelist it. Just get something much stronger than that because Malwarebytes always has. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I got away from it is because it gave false positives.
Yeah,
I don't use it either.
we've only gotten that. This is only the second time in almost a year I've even heard that question come up,
Yep.
but I guess
Yep.
for a few people it happens. Okay.
Yep.
Ed, last question that we have on the Q&A from Joshua again. He had that question earlier. I'm thinking about putting in another $10,000 and allocating it all to one coin as a kind of a side experiment to run alongside and compare it to my original 5 coin strategy. Is this a reasonable thing to do?
Well, you'd have to have a second auto trader to run 2 auto traders. So that would be
Yeah,
one
I don't
thing.
know how you would compare that on one auto trader. You have, it's not like you could say, take 10,000 of my 20 and put it to this one coin. I guess
Yeah, sure you can.
on the percentage you can, right?
Yeah, you can play with the numbers.
Yeah,
Do you
I
want me to
guess,
share? I can show you real fast.
yeah, do that real quick. I think you would put 50% under the whatever one coin he wants to put the 10,000 in.
Good.
You could
Yeah,
manipulate.
like say I wanted to allocate $10,000 to
BTC.
sure. Well, that's as close as I can get. But yeah, you just play with the numbers. Let's do another one, a different coin though. Like do I have Bonk? BONK. Let's take a look at that one.
Yeah.
Boy, he's another one that I'm having trouble getting down to but yeah, you can play with these percents and get it close to it.
Okay. And then save settings. Whenever you make changes or modifications in your trader on any screen, folks, make sure to save changes for it to
And
take
watch these videos. Don't hesitate to watch the videos.
You are proud of those videos. That's a
Well,
brilliant.
I spent the time to create them. I created
Yep.
the videos for each section and talk about those sections. And what I really
Wow.
want to do also is create a video really for each indicator. Instead I cover all the indicators in this one video. I just
Oh, wow.
walk through each of these.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
No,
Well,
I've got one last comment, Russ. And I'm sorry, I can't see the other name.
What is Russ's last name?
I can't see it.
Is it Cello?
I can't see it. Says Coinbase creates higher gainer list every day. Are these coins a good idea to use? I don't know. I don't have an opinion. Didn't even know that existed. But what I can tell you is you have access to the high trade accounts, whether you buy this license or this trader or not. Just use the discount link that I posted. Actually, I'll post it again so nobody has to go looking for it. And then you have direct access to the high trade account in here, and I've already shown you the power of that.
again, let me make a point on Russ's comment. If it's a higher gainers list that comes out every day, that's like a new flavor of the day. That's why I said earlier, pick good projects, good companies like Ed Barsano always says, GRT. They do APIs for multi-billion-dollar companies. They're not going anywhere. ACH, how many hits do they get on their website?
Few billion a day.
Oh, they get AC Alchemy Pay.
Don't focus on coins, focus on the
Yeah,
project. What kind of
millions.
utility? What kind of utility does it have? How long has it been
Can't
around?
remember.
What's their market cap? Don't just go with the flavor of the day.
GRT, the graph gets 2 billion hits a day.
There you go.
2
Wow.
billion hits a day. I write APIs. I don't get 2 billion hits a day. These
That's
guys
pretty
get two, and the only way you could get numbers like that, I believe, would be is if they're being called, because they write security software for, like, if you're transferring something, the destination address, is it valid and all that. They write security software that validates that stuff. They get 2 billion hits a day. They're, in my opinion, they're going nowhere. They're not going out of business. And they've been going down a lot lately. You notice that's one of the coins that I have the most lots. You see that 40?
Yeah.
That shows how many lots I've bought on the way down. I've got
Yeah.
40 of them. That's some gold. That's a well-seasoned auto trader. And you know, it scares people when it goes down like that and it keeps buying, you know, adding. And I'm like, hey, don't bother me. I don't care. Because
Down
when
is
this thing
good.
pops, I'm gonna be rich.
Down is good. So Dan, this is not out in the chat, but Dan says, "What's the link to the community that Edward was talking about?" It's going to be a school community. It's not published yet. We're still putting things together. It's all about adding value to give you guys more information to make smarter decisions, right? And so when we do publish it, probably in a couple of months, then we'll make sure that everybody in the community knows about it.
Natalie has a nice comment. How many companies that do you know about that you can talk to the founder genius and get your questions answered? Truly grateful for my trader in these calls. I learned something new each time. Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah, thanks, Natalie. That's terrific. As I started, it's like being able to sit down with Einstein and go, "Why is relativity relative?"
I want to sit down with this guy because I do have some questions about, and I would love to ask him. But I don't know anyone else that interrogates the level 2 screen the way we do either. You know, because what you think is the best bid and ask isn't. It's not. It's so fake. You know, each of these prices has only a limited number of shares available at that price. So if you want to say you wanted to buy, you know, 50,000 shares, well, you only got 5, 10, forget that one, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. This is your best price, not this. So a lot of fakery out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the
You
auto
take
trader
you
interrogate,
take
I've been
all
interrogating that since 2001. When
like you
I
said.
when I was in a day trading house, a prop house, professional traders trading in there, and I went in there just to get data because I needed high-speed data, and I didn't have a high-speed internet at my house at the time. I couldn't get a gigabit connection yet.
Okay,
So I went in this prop house where all these professional traders are, and I bought some Microsoft. And I just remember, you know, because I'm very vocal, I said, how do I know when to sell this Microsoft? I just threw that out there for everybody and just to see who would bite. And somebody walked up and he said, it's easy. He said, he pointed at a price up here and he said, you see that guy's order? Sell it right under him. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God. They're actually looking at your orders and they're actually making trades based on your orders. In a New York Trader Expo with a lot of people around. I mean, there had to be thousands of people at this Trader Expo, right? I was talking about that. And one guy said, there's no way I'm looking at your orders. And I said, really? What would you trade if I took that level 2 screen away from you? And I'm telling you, it was like E.F. Hutton. The room went silent. I'm telling you, thousands of people did stop talking. I couldn't believe it. And he thought for a minute and he goes, well, I couldn't trade anything. I said, that's because you're too busy looking at our orders. Because without that, professional day traders can't trade because because they can't rip you off. Because millions of people float those limit orders in public view. These are your limit orders, folks. And you're putting them right out there in public view for all the professional day traders to eat you alive.
The traders hide the GoBabyTrade hides that. So let
We
me
hide it. I only put it on here just for demonstrations. It's not
right,
even on there for everybody else. It's only on
right.
my screen. But internally, the software is calculating. It knows what the real price is. What the real price is that I'm gonna that if I try to submit an order, that's what I'm gonna get.
So let me say this, and then we're gonna close with an example. People ask us about, what should I start with to make it worthwhile? We'll go over that in a second. But first of all, I want to welcome Wes. Wes just signed up, and thank you so much for joining the
No,
family.
Will.
I'm sorry, Will West,
We
Mr. West.
only have 12 more
Mr. West.
minutes, so make it fast.
Mr. West.
That'll be 3 hours.
So actually Attila is answering Mr. West, but welcome to the family. We're here to support you. So with that, I am going to share my screen, and we will bid you adieu. Bear with me just 1 second. I want to show you an example that we created because everybody asks, excuse me, how much can I make? Well, I'm going to talk about it from a different angle because I can't give you that kind of advice. But
no, if anybody tries to tell you what you're really going to make, they're lying.
Yep, and this is just an example. So starting with $5,000 that you put into the Trader to Trade Live. If you look at this first line, the 3 years, right? This is if, and we've shown you a lot of live data. Excuse me, but there's no future prediction or guarantee or anything. This is just based on assumption. So if it does in the future over the next 3, 6, and 9 years, based on what it's already done, right? You will net $8,376. It could be more, could be less, but where else are you going to get that sort of return? And by the way, this isn't 100%. I've created this example at 50%. We've already shown you annualized numbers that are triple digits, but let's just assume that it's half of that, right? This is your lost opportunity cost if you don't give your money a job at 3 years. And let's say you renew, right? So that is minus the cost of the license, minus the cost of your starting capital, right? Is this, right? Your obviously your account value is going to be more. Let's say you're tired of making money after 3 years and you go, nope, I don't want to make any more free money. Then don't renew the license. By the way, Mr. Barsano, I forgot to ask you this. If someone buys the license at the discount, the 3 years expires, and they want to continue the license, what is their pricing?
I haven't changed the price in 20 years.
So they won't have to pay $4,500 to renew it. It'll be still discounted price?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent, because that would have messed up my model. But let's say you renewed. So 6 year, the end of 6 years.
Wait a minute. I just realized I have to raise it $1.
Then you just screwed up my numbers, right? Your lost opportunity cost is almost $45,000. Let's say another 3 years goes by and you buy it from Steven, right? Your lost opportunity cost is 176, almost 100.
Wait a minute, are you insinuating that I'm dead in 9 years?
Just making sure you're paying attention, sir. No, you're going to live forever. So, like I said, go only buy. This will be funny. Go into Starbucks and ask them for a half a cup of coffee because you can't. You got to put the other half of the cost into the trader.
It's more than $3 at Starbucks.
I know. Well, that's on a discount. Maybe that's on your birthday. You get that sort of discount. But all joking aside, this is as I said, this is a 50% calculation. I showed you what mine's done in 39 days based on the capital deployed. Ed showed you over the term of the lifetime of the trader. It's triple digits, not this. Not a prediction, just a conservative example, right? This number could be higher or could be lower. If you want a way to make money without the stress, right? I talk to traders all the time, and people call and ask me, well, what's different between me looking at 6 screens or 10 screens or whatever? I said, you eat and sleep that. Where's the peace and lack of stress in that? There's no stress. Do we look stressed?
And what are they looking at on the charts? That's the thing. If you're looking at screens, you're looking for things going up. That's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
That's gambling, because what you're saying is you expect it to keep going up. Can I say this? Do you mind, Edward, if I?
No. I'm done.
I'm
I'm
just
ready to
trying to
say,
add 8 more minutes for 3 hours. But I do have enough topics to cover that. No, my original auto trader, I had an indicator on the screen that said lock in loss. And I just remember somebody calling me and saying, "What is that lock in loss?" I said, "Well, that's if a if you're in a coin, or it was stocks at the time, if you're in a stock and it goes down and it's down and you want to lock in that loss." And he said, "Well, isn't that a stop loss?" I said, "Well, what's a stop loss? I didn't even know what a stop loss was in 2001, and I automated the market." And he said, "Well, a stop loss is where it's down and you want to stop the loss." I said, what do you mean stop the loss? How do you know it's going to keep going down? You're just locking in the loss is what you're doing by selling it at a loss. So I changed the name on the screen to stop loss just to appease people, even though internally it's still called lock in loss. Because that's all you're doing is locking in a loss by selling something at a loss. I never sell at a loss. This trader never sells at a loss. I'm going to repeat that 17 more times, and then
no.
60. I'm kidding. We never sell at a loss. It makes no sense to sell something at a loss. It's
No.
just because it's just numbers doing this. And if you sell it at a loss, you just locked in all that loss
Well,
for nothing, because that's just gambling then.
everybody that's joined us, thank you again for investing this time with us. But you're leaving a lot more knowledgeable than when you came in, right? The trader and what we talked about defies the logic that you've been taught by people that are teaching because they're not doing, right? We've shown you everything that to be, do, and have about what it takes to let technology, the brilliance of this platform, what Mr. Barsano has to echo what Attila mentioned earlier, has leveled the playing field for people where you don't have to think about anything.
Yeah.
And
That's
if,
what
and,
people
and if,
want. That's what people want.
well, that's what people want, but they didn't know that it existed
Right.
until now.
Right.
So, yeah, I am beyond grateful for everybody spending and investing their valuable time. Thank you for allowing us to share this information with you. Mr. Barsano, brilliant to see you, sir.
Thank you for staying here for 2 hours and 56 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, and guys, we're here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on behalf of Crypto Casey. We, like Edward said, we are her education and support arm for what she does regarding this endeavor with the trader. So you've got in the chat the emails you need in case you have a question. If it's a very, very technical question, send it to support@GoBabyTrade.com. If it's an ordinary question, we could answer it at RCT Marketing Systems, but either one will work. And then you've got the link there to save $1,000. And we appreciate you being here. Great questions today, by the way. This was great. And Edward, great job. Ed Barsano, go ahead. Final words to you.
Final words. All right. I never get those. Oh, it was Edward's final words. I have some
yours.
words. What I wanted to say for the next 4 minutes. I'm sorry. Boy, yeah. Yeah, I have so much to say, but for once I'm at a loss for words.
Mr. Barsano, you have added so much good to humanity. Everybody has struggled and continues to struggle. Another rabbit hole. I won't take you down, but
no, take us down.
Well, no, this puts you in a position where you've given you've given people the opportunity to have more money at the end of the month than normally, as I've been in the position where I've had more month at the end of the money. You have given such a gift as I've said before, to me, to Attila, to our families, and everybody else that has been blessed by this opportunity to learn and take advantage or not take advantage. No's an acceptable answer, but do your research and come join us anytime you'd like.
Yep, excellent. So with that, Ed, do you remember what you were going to say?
Yes, absolutely, I do. I have an advantage when people call, and a lot of the questions are directly related to their trader. Okay, most of the questions are about their trader and the coins they're trading, and there's like 1,000 different questions you could ask. So I can bring up your trader, and I can see your trader while you're talking. While you're looking at your trader, I'm looking at your trader, and we can talk about the stuff. And I want to bring it to where I'm at. I mean, I'm not a genius. They keep saying that, you know. Believe me, at Microsoft, they wouldn't have called me a genius. We fought a lot about different projects, but we always, we always deliver the goods and 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 accomplish the mission. All right, that's what it's about. And this isn't a game. We laugh. We're all having a grand time. But in reality, this is people's life savings, and we take it serious.
Yep.
Right, Edward, you take it serious. Attila, you take
Very.
it serious. I can tell. And we really love helping. It's fun, and this is really, this is you. I don't know where else you would go to get a support team like this. We are a heck of a team because we really do help people all day, every day. And I still have 1 minute to talk, so.
You are determined.
All right, we did it. 3 hours.
All right, very good. Well, with that in your
God
final
bless
words.
you guys. Thank you. Gotta go. No, thanks a lot. Thanks, guys, for sticking around and listening.
Yeah, be on the lookout for you're going to get an email with the link we posted to the Financial Intelligence for You YouTube channel, but you'll get a link to that. It'll come automatically through your registration, and use the same registration link to register for any of the webinars. Join us. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Go forth and multiply your digital assets, preferably within the trader.
Very good.
For now.
God bless you guys. And go
Thank
Navy.
you, gentlemen. Go Navy.
Go Navy.
All right.
All
Cheers.
right. Take care, Ed.